right, what's up, guys? It is Wednesday, getting closer to Friday. The 20, what does that say? 28th? Sounds good. The 28th, 2020. I'm Brandon Toy, the host of the Ranty with Brandon show. And let's see who we've got in chat. See, we've got some people in Discord already, so we're ready to go. Plain Truth, what's up, man? He says, hashtag acceleration is real. Yeah, that's been a hot topic of discussion. SE Montreal, Matrix Media, Raichi, Brian Shakir level. Huh? What is Earth? Huh? Colin Dresser. Hey, Colin. Hector Ram. Flat for Life. What's up, guys? Seek and Find just joined. What's going on? All right. Lumberjack. I finally did set up that new donation thing. First, let me spam my link in the chat to you guys, even though pretty sure all the names I see are ones I recognize as people who are subscribed to my channel. There it is. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click it. Hey, Ian Adams, what's up, man? So, if you're not familiar with Streamlabs donations, it's not through YouTube or Google. So this is an alternate way to support the show. And it's kind of cool because you can write something or attach a video clip and it'll show you, it'll play on screen. So I'll give you an example here in a minute. Let me just click test and you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. There you go. So you should see that on screen.
This is a test donation for $65. Oh.
There you go. That's what it'll do. It'll show your name. It'll show the amount. It'll show that little guy. And you can even attach like a video or an audio clip and it'll play that. Now I do have a dashboard here where I can see the video and audio clips. So I'll have to go through those first. So don't send anything that's copyright or, don't send me a CNN, YouTube link or anything like that. We should be all right. We'll see how that works, but I will spam that in the chat here in a few seconds so you guys can see that. Obviously it's on screen. There's also you can support the show through Patreon or a channel membership like Lumberjack and Colin Dresser, and you can also support via PayPal. That goes directly to Ranty. So I think I'm speaking to the choir right now, but we'll come back to that later. All right, let's say hello to who is in the Discord. Looks like we've got a handful of people in there already. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Flat Earth.
Hey,
Hello.
Brandon.
Flat Earth. Hell yeah, Flat Earth. The only Earth. Flat Earth, the only Earth.
Anyone we've got?
We've got Travis. What's up, Travis?
Hello. What ho?
F Evangelist.
G'day, mate.
Good day. Jimbo. I can't even say it without feeling like I'm making fun of Australians, like I'm acting like a good day. Do you guys really say that?
So,
Yeah, good day.
yeah,
G apostrophe day.
yeah. Now, to be honest, we don't really say it a lot, but I don't know. Maybe I was making fun of myself. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Jimbo. What's up, Jimbo?
Hello. Not too much. Had some slushy snow. It melted again. Went away.
Story
Not
of
much, really.
Story of Canada, right there. SE Montreal.
Good evening from Montreal.
All right, and the real Bob Dole.
Hello.
So, I've been hearing quite the discussions going on in the after show. Sometimes I'm listening after the show. Now, I am recording for like the first 2 or 3 hours, but sometimes I'm actively listening. And sometimes I listen to the whole thing, usually. I've been hearing some interesting conversations and a lot of talk about acceleration. So I know we've got a tentative one-on-one between Right the Hand and SE Montreal, but I don't know. Do you guys think we could talk about this? Figure out what's going on? Because it seems to be getting pretty heated.
Flat Earth data? Is that the same as Right the Hand Flat Earth data?
No,
No.
they're two different people.
Two different people. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it wrong, so I'll stay out of it.
They do have a lot of similar mannerisms, though.
Flat Earth Data was the one that was basically
Here
trying
last
to get us
night.
to stop having the conversation altogether. He thinks it's a waste of time or something like that. Pretty sure.
Well, yesterday he came in on the after show and was on the
Oh,
what was that trip he was on?
something
Oh,
about the sunset being, I think, like in a
oh,
special
black
place or something, and something was
black
going to
spots
happen.
on the sun and the 25-year cycle. And he went on and on how we were not truth seekers because we don't believe in the cycle or something. Well, cycles happen, and he was on this thing about we teach everything is a lie. Well, not everything, but most things for sure. But it's not everything. And he wants to bait people into saying like, well, is everything a lie or not? And you're all bad for teaching people that everything's a lie and all this nonsense for over an hour. I left. I mean, I was so sick
Yeah,
of
I
it.
mean, like if he could point out any video or recording whatsoever where I've ever said the words "everything is a lie," I'd love for him to give that to me, but I'm confident it doesn't exist.
Paige even left because she was sort of discouraged and disappointed at the shit.
Well, it did
She
go
likes to get a word
downhill
in
pretty
here and there.
fast in the after show, which I haven't released yet, but I will, so people can know what we're talking about. It wasn't as good as the night before, but yeah. Oh, and I don't know if "good's" the right word, to be honest with you, but seems like everybody opens up quite a bit after the show's off the air. That's for sure. That's when the
Well,
real shit comes
honestly,
out.
I was saying it was like having Pete there. The way he baits people into question, tries to, push his thing the same way Flat Earth Data was doing yesterday, including the insults, the baiting with the question. And if you don't or do agree with them, then he lays into you. Like nobody died on 9/11. What do you think of that? And then if you don't agree with them, oh boy, you're an agent or whatever. One time on this show, that girl, I forget, Mappy, he attacked her the first day she was here.
Yeah, I
And I
remember.
started ranting at frickin' the idiot for that. I've seen him do it for years. I can't stand it. I couldn't stand it no more, and I haven't been able to stand it for a long time. So that's why we butted heads a lot.
I think
I
you've
just
got
can't
post
take it.
Pete traumatic disorder, to be honest
Yeah,
with you,
maybe.
Jimbo, because he's not here, man.
Well, he had words for me at the Flat Earth debate and chat this morning, so
Oh, okay,
screw it.
gotcha. All right.
Dodo withdrawal symptoms.
I guess you could put it like that. So what's going on? What have you guys heard? What's new? What's the news out there?
Well, I'm sort of happy people are talking about the Nephilim and giants and even ushering the word titans a little bit. Petrification. That's been sort of omitted from flat earth and discussion since that kind of nonsense with the giant trees and everything being silicone based and all this stuff, you know. I'm not saying there can't be giant trees, but they have to have a certain diameter of base and trunk to support them. There's a ratio, for most things. Things work on a constant of proportionality.
I don't think I got into the whole "there's no trees on flat Earth," but that seemed to kind of come and go pretty quickly. Or am I wrong
It
about
was a
that?
flash in the pan, but it had its impact, good or bad. It just,
No
little of this
trees.
and a little of that in it. It was made like propaganda, that's for sure. It held your interest a bit, but the validity of the information is really questionable.
What do you think about
That's
that
all
whole
I got.
thing, Bob? Were you into that?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Did someone claim there couldn't be trees on a flat Earth?
Well, it was just a shock title, like in a sense, clickbait, but to an actually
Oh,
very well made production, if you will, or YouTube video. It was well produced, well edited, well scripted. Pretty well everything was good about it, except its accuracy, maybe.
nice. It was all really good stuff, other than the fact that it was 100% false.
That's about right. I like NASA and, every photo from the cupola. They're all fake, 100%.
Yeah,
What can I say? What can you do?
like I
And
said,
you don't just have to find Italy. They have some nice photos of Florida where you only see damn Florida and a bit of South Carolina. How can that be from, other photos that are taking at 10,000 miles or 3,000 miles, 340 miles at 6 miles a second? You have what you call motion blur. If you zoom into the ground from, say, for example, 240 miles up, quote unquote, the background of whatever you're trying to focus on is blurring. If it is the background you're trying to focus on, you can never focus on it because it's never there for you for more than a split second.
Yeah, but if it's so far away, I mean, aren't you able to focus? I've taken pictures out the car before of
You'd have to
windmills
move.
really
You'd have to
far off
pan
in the
your camera
distance.
as you were focusing to take your picture.
Yeah, but those were only like, a couple miles away, 250 miles. You would think you'd get quite a bit of time to be able to focus in on one spot.
Yeah, well, that's astronauts are well trained for that, and look how big those lenses are. Really.
Brandon, did you just say time?
Did I say time?
Come on, time doesn't exist.
Uh-oh, it's spreading.
I think there's another flat earther getting a 2600 millimeter lens. The Canon, the P1000s, they have 1,000 millimeter lens. This extension for cameras like Nikon and Canon 35s has a 2600 millimeter zoom. It's an extreme zoom. It's really like having a telescope at the end of your glass, at the end of your camera, but it's better than a telescope. A telescope is designed to take a wide area and concentrate it into a smaller spot, thus making everything look like a ball or distorted too. So you shouldn't do land observations and mountain to mountain or across water with a telescope. Use a lens that's designed for a camera, like these extreme zoom lenses from Optica. If you have a good 35, you buy one of these for about $300, and you've got a better lens by 1.5 times than the Nikon or the P1000.
Mm-hmm. Have you been out shooting at all, Travis?
No, not recently. My work's keeping me out all week, and then the weekends are just too busy.
Yeah. Do you go out and do that at all, Bob? Take
What
pictures?
exactly?
Do you go out and do photography, long distance photography?
I did a little bit back during the summer because I had went ahead and picked up one of the P1000s. I haven't done any recently. I'm thinking about maybe getting some shots of like the moon. I think there's supposed to be a full moon on the 31st. I might get some pictures there, but nothing recent.
Yeah. Yeah, I go out every once in a while. I've got a P1000 too. And I live by the Great Lakes. So when I go up, and visit my dad, he's right on Lake Huron. And I go out there and I take pictures, but I've never gotten anything. I've gone on some bad days and I've only gone 4 or 5 times. I've never gotten anything worth sharing. But I know up there, quite frequently, if it's a clear day, you can see all the way across Lake Huron to Tawas. I'll show you where. I mean, this is something that's known within the town. Well, I'll show you. I'm gonna bring it up on Google Earth. This isn't evidence or anything, but this is like one of those little local things that people know about.
Yeah, they should be able to see across the water, even if it's 50 miles, a $10 tagging laser. I got a dozen green 50-mile lasers. They're about $10 each.
A what?
They're tagging lasers like the military uses to point at buildings to send missiles at them.
Uh-huh.
They're called tagging lasers. You can get green military tagging lasers, metal case, aluminum, everything. Not waterproof, but that's okay. But for $10 each. And they have a range of 50 miles.
All right, let me share my screen here. I'll just
see that across the bay.
Have you done a test with lasers, Jimbo?
A million of them. I think with dozens of lasers, I don't do laser tests.
No, I don't know.
I reflect 12 miles away from the tower. There's one of the dishes that's pointed more or less back at me, and I can shine the laser at it 12 miles away, and it lights it up like green street light. visible for miles to anyone looking at the tower. They'll see that it has a new green light on it as long as it's pointed and fixed on it.
Okay.
It's 12 miles away. I can shoot it with the extreme lens. I can't really see the guy wires holding up the tower, but when the shadow is right, I see the shadow of the guy wires. I can count and see exactly every guy wire on the 700-foot post. Count them. I can see the ski hill and the cable cars up and the ski lifts, the posts, and the
Uh-huh.
lights, and the ski center down at the base of the hill where people have a cocoa and stuff.
Do you have any pictures of this?
Yeah. But I'm tired and fucking lazy today, so I'm gonna take another day if you want me to put a few in a folder and show them.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, always love to see observations that anybody has. Yeah, so
I'll post them all anyway too. So
yeah, so
I
here
got
it is.
one.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's of the tower on a nice clear night, and you got that so-called row of whatever SkyTrain, whatever that so-called row of satellites. That one's pretty handy. I can probably show you that in a minute.
Okay.
I'll go get it and hush up and just post that one.
Okay. So it's 22 miles, so it's not the longest observation that we've seen, but this happens frequently. You can see across this bay right here. Same elevation, obviously. But anyway. Okay, well.
Brandon, you want to touch on acceleration?
Yeah, what's going on with this acceleration thing? I've heard you, arguing with different people. Why don't we?
Yeah, we have two nuclear physicists, the real Bob Dole and Wright the Hand. And, acceleration is nothing for them. It's not a thing.
I'm not a nuclear physicist.
Oh, yeah, I know. Trust me.
I don't want anything to do with the nuclear or the physicist part of nuclear physicists.
Yeah, I heard you say some off-the-wall things there, Bob. You still believe that God made time first?
As opposed to...
What do you mean as opposed to? I heard you talk some
smack. You indicated, well,
after I
first
left
would
the
mean
show,
that
you were
it's
talking
before
some
something
smack.
else, right? So as opposed to what? What's
you
the other
chased me
thing that
away
you
or
would have
something?
possibly made first?
Well, the question, hold on, Essie. The question would be to ask Bob, do you believe that God created time?
I heard him say that he believes that God created time first. Is that...
No, God didn't create time.
So you were lying when you said that?
No, I didn't say that.
As you were trying to ridicule me. When
What
you
I
were
said
trying
to
to
you
say
was
that
that
I
God
incorporated
created the
time
system of time.
with acceleration.
What I told you was that God put the sun and the moon and the stars in the firmament for us to tell time. I didn't say that he literally created time.
Right, and you were laughing at me.
I didn't laugh at you, so I'm not sure where you got
did.
that.
You did.
I mean, I might have laughed at your argument. Your arguments were really ridiculous. I would have laughed at those for sure.
Yeah, tell me my argument.
I didn't
How
laugh at you at all.
ridiculous it was. Repeat it. What was my argument?
You're under the impression that time and or acceleration are real.
No, you're absolutely wrong. I told you 100 times. Time is not real.
Right. I realized what your statement was, but that's why I was laughing, because it was so ridiculous. You were trying to have acceleration without time, which is impossible because acceleration involves time. You don't get to pick and choose like that.
No, if you
it
say
does
that,
involve
you're a clown,
time
because time has
that's
nothing
part
to
of
do
the
with acceleration.
definition.
No, I repeat.
Hey,
if you
listen,
think that, you're a
if you want to
clown,
provide
because
an
time
alternate
has nothing
definition
to do with
to
acceleration.
acceleration, that's fine. Then just admit that you're talking about a different acceleration than everyone else. I'm okay with that.
I'm not talking about a different acceleration.
Do I need to read the definition for you again of what acceleration is?
And do I have to repeat to you that you're using the formula that you think that I'm using is not what I'm using?
I'm not using any formula. I'm just reading the definition.
Formula that you're laughing at me. I don't need a formula.
I'm not using a formula.
We don't live in a formula.
I'm not using a formula. I'm
the
using a
event
definition.
is real, and we call it acceleration. Do you not understand that? I don't need
Oh,
math. I don't need
I
any
think
of
that
your
you can
formulas.
probably witness something and call it acceleration for sure. I think that's certainly true. Yes.
So then why do you feel that you have to
So are you
ridicule me and you
admitting that
think
you're
that you're
talking
smart
about a
or
different
something
acceleration than everyone else?
with right
Do
the
you admit
hand
that?
there, your
You
right
admit
hand
that?
man there?
You don't admit that, do you?
Admit what?
That you're talking about a different acceleration than everyone else. Yours doesn't include time, therefore it's not the same acceleration.
No, that's not. No.
No, of
Once
course you
again,
don't admit
you
it.
are misrepresenting what I'm saying. Listen, take the
Tantamount to
wax out of
admitting
your
that you're
ears.
wrong.
Take the wax out of your ears and listen what I'm going to
I
tell
don't
you.
have any wax in my ears. I hear you. That's why
No,
I
you
was
don't hear
laughing.
me.
Your argument is ridiculous. It's
No, you
absurd.
are
It's
ridiculous.
nonsense.
You are a
It's
clown
stupid.
because you think we need time to measure acceleration,
I don't think
right?
you need time.
You do.
That's what right the
You
hand was
do.
saying, right?
You're claiming that acceleration is real, which means you have to include time.
No, listen again what I'm telling you. The event that we call acceleration is real. Do you understand that?
Yeah, when you apply a force to a non-moving object, it will accelerate. If you apply an
See,
even force to it,
See what I
it'll
tell you.
attain a constant speed.
I didn't say force.
He
Attain
did.
the
This
push.
is
I
why
don't
we're
care.
doing
I'm talking to Right the Hand, who made a video of me, Clown Show, Right the Hand, and Clown Show
Yeah,
Bob,
Clown Show.
Noodle, whatever the fuck
All
your
right,
name
so
is.
how do you find
Don't put
acceleration
words
without
in my
time?
mouth, idiots.
Okay,
All
so
right,
how do you find
So what is
acceleration without
acceleration
time?
then?
Right the Hand, you still think that when we throw
No,
a ball that it displaces air?
Essie, we're asking you, how do you find acceleration without time?
How do you find acceleration without time? Very
Time
simple. Listen up now. Take the wax out of your ears, Right the Hand.
Yeah, you're not saying.
And Bob,
An
take the
answer.
fucking wax out of your ears. Listen
Yeah.
up, okay? I'm walking with somebody, right?
Don't-
We're walking
Okay.
at the same pace. Now, did you hear the word time come out of my mouth?
Pace.
Not
What is
yet,
pace?
right? Okay,
What is
I'm
pace?
walking
When you
at the
said
same pace
pace,
with somebody.
what does pace mean? What
Don't
does pace
talk,
mean?
Right the Hand. Are you afraid?
What
Why
does
are you
pace
talking,
You
Right
need
the
to
Hand?
explain this because it sounds like you're
You have to
replacing
explain what pace means.
speed
because
with pace.
Time.
Okay, should we define what means after?
No, because you're telling me you're using time, but instead of time,
I'm
you're
not
saying pace.
using time, Clown Show. Listen
what is
to
pace?
the words
You
coming
are
out of my
using
mouth.
time, you just won't admit it.
So what
Listen,
is
Pace is
pace?
speed, and speed involves time.
I never
You're
said
you're
anything
stupid,
about
Essie.
speed.
You said
You
I
said
pace.
said
pace.
me
So
and my
you're moving
friend
at
are
the same
walking.
pace. You're at the
I
same
hope
what?
everybody's
You're
listening out
same
here.
what?
Guess what?
I
Pace
hope
is rate.
they're not letting me talk. You hear that? That's what they were doing in the after show. They
Oh.
think
You're
they
going
got
to
the
explain
beat. They
your
think they're
words
fucking
You're
smarter than
saying the
everybody
same
all the
else.
way
thing.
through.
You're saying the same thing. You're saying I'm moving at the same speed, but you're saying pace.
I didn't say I'm
We're
moving
just
at the
going to
same
grill you
speed.
on pace.
Nope.
You're going to replace speed with pace. Yes, we know.
Listen, I'm walking with a friend of mine, and we are both walking at the same pace. Now, if
and
that
that's
troubles you, that's
speed.
your fucking problem, not
Okay,
mine.
so
Well,
you're saying you're
let
hold
me
on,
let
hold
me
on.
go ahead and let
Don't
him finish.
understand what I
Okay,
just
Let's
said
get all the way
now.
back there.
If
If you
you
walk all
start
the whole
at the
way
same
without
see
explaining.
what they're doing? They're not letting me talk.
Yeah, you
You
guys
already
are
said it.
you
You
guys
said
got
you're
2
walking
on
at
1.
the
You got to
same
let him
pace.
at least talk.
But he said it. He said he's walking at the same speed. We get it. You're
I didn't
walking at
say
the same
speed,
speed.
asshole.
You said
Asshole.
pace. Which means,
Boy.
Did I
so
say
what
speed?
is pace?
All
What
right,
is
hold on.
pace
Let me-
then?
let-
You're
okay, let
replacing
me jump in
speed.
just real quick. Let me just jump in real quick. Essie, so I don't know. Maybe you're just not hearing them. So for them, they are hearing
Hello?
speed. They are hearing hello. They are hearing speed when you say pace. So can you differentiate between whether or not you mean another thing than speed, or whether or not you are simply saying
Okay, I'll
pace?
take that word out. Me and my friend are walking.
Okay.
Now, I decide to start running. My friend is still walking. Now, I decide to start running. And there is an acceleration between me and my friend.
No, you were running, your friend's walking. You manifested an acceleration. You manifested acceleration when you started running. So don't show me you running. Show me the acceleration.
I think I have the words that you guys need is you and your friend were walking at the same rate of motion.
Rate, no, that rate brings into speed, which speed is time.
Forward motion.
Well,
Right.
you need a measurement of things right
Well,
ahead.
but
Come
can
on,
you
bro.
measure time? Okay. Now the
That's
question
right, you
becomes:
do.
can you measure? Hold on. Wait. Let me speak. Can you measure time?
Yes.
Oh, so you can measure something that's not real.
Well, what is a clock doing then?
Hold on.
Oh
Sorry
my
to
God,
interrupt,
we're
guys.
not going
Travis.
That's what
there.
we got
You
into.
said you
Hey,
closed
guys,
the
guys,
room,
guys, guys.
fight
1
it
second.
out,
I'm sorry.
and let us
Travis.
get on to other
Travis.
things. I put my
Hold
photo in
on.
the
1
back if
second,
anyone
please. 1
ever
second,
interested in it.
please. 1 second. Travis, you're getting some chirping from your mic, just so you know. Go ahead, guys. Apologize.
Yeah, so once you do that, right? Once you can't measure time because time is a concept. A clock doesn't measure time. A clock moves, and you measure the motion.
So time is motion?
I did not say, bro. Oh my God.
Clock
You
is
just
more
said it. Time
accurate
is
than a
motion,
running
right?
I
If
clock.
said
it's not
a
moving, there's
clock.
no time.
Listen.
You sound like a clown.
Listen. Don't call me names. Just listen. I said a clock measures motion, not time. When you're saying a clock measure, hold on, bro. Let me just get. When your clock it moves, we measure the movement. That's what you measure.
All right, right ahead. I understand what you're saying, but you don't seem to understand the problem that brings, like, to
Okay,
everybody.
so explain the problem.
Because
Explain the problem.
the problem is that we lose all kind of ways of measurement, the different speeds and things that we do in real life. Right? I
No.
understand your
No,
point. Yes, we do.
No,
How,
let me
okay,
explain.
how,
You don't.
all right,
You don't
all right,
do
let's
that.
say,
You don't lose it.
all right,
Let me
hold
explain
on. Let me ask you this, and maybe you can help me on this, because I do understand your point, but help me on this. Let's say I want to measure how fast you run, from, like, I want to compare how fast I run to how
I got you. Okay, and this
out
I lost.
Inserted velocity and speed and all this stuff. How you do that?
Okay, so what you're saying is, how do I tell the difference, right, between an
No.
object that is moving, quote, faster than another object, right?
No, I say how you measure.
Okay, so so before we do anything, would you agree that a measurement needs a standardized unit? So we know we have 10 X's or 15 inches, whatever.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
now the standardized unit for time, or whatever you would be using for time, would
60
be
seconds per minute.
But what is a second? A second is actually how many times this is where you get. I'm going to prove why I'm right. A second is nothing but how many times a cesium atom goes back and forth. So the motion, you're tracking the motion of you, right? You move 10 feet. That's your measurement. That's your empirical feet is a measurement unit. Now you compare that to the metronome, which made move 5 inches, right? So now that's your comparison. Now time, instead of time,
not at all.
Hold
buddy.
on, bro.
God.
Hold on. Let him finish, please.
He's in La La Land.
Okay,
No. Hold on, because
So there's only non-motion and acceleration, right?
Please,
I mean,
hold
and
on.
speed. There's no acceleration. You're saying, right? Right, the hand.
Right.
You're gonna
right the
redefine. You're gonna redefine physics, right?
Right the hand. Can you
Right the
can you
Einstein.
finish?
yes, that's exactly what I'm going to
Can
do.
you-
I'm going
You
all the
would
bullshit.
use
Hold on.
Let's
All
get
the
this
bullshit
clear
that they
now.
gave us, all the lies, just like Ball Earth. I'm going to dissect their bullshit, and I'm going to show you why it's bullshit, just like we did with
Yeah,
Ball Earth.
Ram-
Right the
Random.
Einstein.
Well, you're wrong on this
Yeah.
one, my friend.
What's up?
Hold
no,
on.
he's not.
Because he was explaining to me. I want him to finish, right?
Everybody, listen. There's no acceleration in the world. There's
Oh, my
only
God.
speed and non-speed. There's no acceleration
Okay,
according
and
to.
there's triggered. There's triggered and non-triggered.
No.
Right the hand.
You
Right
guys
ahead, can you
fired the
finish?
first volley. I'm gonna make you look like morons. You and
SC
Bob.
Montreal.
Well, I'm waiting. You still haven't done it.
Can you
All
let
you've
him
done is restate
finish,
your position.
please?
Go ahead. Right hand. Finish your explanation to Silent Zero.
Yeah. So when you measure something, we have the measurement unit, which is the distance of the object traveled, and then you have to compare it to something, right? That miles per something. Now we don't have time because time is fake. It's just an illusion. Now the clock moves a set distance every set distance. It's moving 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. And you can
Yes,
call
sir.
you can call the time, quote, it takes to move 5 inches, but you didn't measure that. You measured the distance.
All right. So now, can you answer the question? How will you measure the difference?
Yeah, so what I would do is you would take the standardized unit of the metronome's 1 click, right? So you would say let's say a metronome back and forth. Each time it goes one way, that's an inch. Okay, so now you would say you could call that 1, or whatever you want, the unit. Now you would take your distance, right? So now for every 10 feet, if I can go 10 feet in one click, that's pretty fast. If I can go 1 foot in one click, that's slower. So all you're doing so all you would be doing is comparing your distance, how far can you go, in how far the metronome goes standardized. So the metronome goes 1 inch. How much distance can you travel in its 1 inch?
I agree with you. Yeah. I see, that explains what I was asking. I right ahead. I was never against you. I was just trying to.
No, I just said that was for SC. When it's he can't explain it. He'll just call me a clown and a joker. But when I explain it,
you are a clown.
You won't even listen to what I have to say.
This. Right ahead.
You don't want to hear what other people have to say about it.
Right ahead. Let me say this. Those clicks that you call, those things that you call clicks, that's what we call time or clock. I know, I understand what you explain. It doesn't exist. I'm sorry that people thinks that time is a thing, right?
Time is clicks, according to
it's what you measure.
It's a measurement, though.
No,
I don't know how you don't see this. I don't know how you don't see this.
It's not real. I agree, but it's an oscillation. We didn't have cesium clocks in grandfather clocks. We had a little pendulum that went back and forth, oscillated, rocker, back and forth, left and right, strain. That's what made the little gears turn.
Acceleration is very simple. I'm running and I decide to run faster. That event is called acceleration. You understand, Bob and Mr.
And gravity is really simple. You drop something and it falls
can call
down.
it whatever the hell you want.
Super simple.
You deny your
I'm
involvement.
aware that you can explain it in a few words. You say it's simple and then lie about other people, but it doesn't make it right.
Montreal, you're talking about the colloquial meaning of the word, right? Acceleration, like.
Yes. The general, what every human being on this planet understands as acceleration. Yes, except
I agree with
fame and real Bob Doodle.
I agree with that. The problem is that when you guys try
this
to
is a test donation for $90.
Time and all this stuff, it's when it becomes like it means something that they try to insert things that don't exist into things that we can explain really simple.
Yeah, one thing they insert is like gravity. When you drop something, I dropped it. Your Honor, I dropped the vase, I let it go midair, and gravity is responsible for breaking it. So gravity should pay for it, Your Honor. Do you see the problem? You deny your own input. You say, I'm dropping this microphone. But guess what? Forget the energy I put in. Forget me retaining this energy. Just look at it dropping and watch the magic of its acceleration. Argue about that shit and deny your input. Attach a bowling ball to a girder on the ceiling and deny you did it. And then measure some results. With a vacuum, without, I don't give a shit. It's bullshit. You deny your own participation in stowing energy. You don't ask, who's falling? What's falling? Someone jumps out of a plane. It's not gravity pulling them down. They stored energy going up. The wings of the plane, the motor, and the gas got them up there. They can only jump because energy was put into them to get them up there, like a bowling ball on the rafters. Someone has to hook it up there. To drop a mic, you have to drop a goddamn mic. It's not gravity pulling it down.
Let me clarify something. I don't think you drop things. You let go things. Right?
Well, okay, that's what he's saying, though. What he's like, if you pick up an object, you're putting energy into it to lift it. Right, but to lift it up in the first place, you have to be expending energy, right? So what he's saying is that whenever people talk about it and they say, oh, gravity's pulling it down, what he's saying is no. You actually used energy to get it up there to begin with, and you're actually, in a way, transferring that energy when you let go. The energy's already there. You use it to move the object up to begin with.
What is the energy in the object? If you lift the bowling ball up,
it's in your hand, and the banana you ate that gives you energy to pick stuff up and do work, and move your fingers and use your brain.
Once you release the bowling ball, if I pick the bowling ball up, what you'll say is I've put potential energy into the bowling ball.
No
then
shit,
I release. Yeah, hang on, Jimbo. I'm just
sorry
trying to talk something through here, mate.
I was just getting hyper.
Is that potential energy, is that measurable? Because when you let go of the bowling ball, Are you saying that energy is then released as it drops back to the ground? In which case, you should be able to measure a difference in something between a 10-foot elevation and ground level. Do you measure it in millivolts? Let me bloody speak, man.
You're asking
Stop
for a
talking
measurement.
over
I want to
me.
give you one. I want to give you one that's universal, and it applies in. It's called foot pounds. Really, foot pounds.
Energy to lift
1 foot lifted 1 foot off the 1 pound lifted 1 foot off the ground has 1 foot pound of potential. Lift that same pound 100 feet up, it's like having 100 pounds of potential. That 1 pound now has 100 foot pounds of energy.
So how do you measure that? How do you measure that, or is that a theoretical number?
Torque output of cars is foot pound seconds. Look it up.
No, I'm talking about a bowling ball 10 feet in the air, Jimbo. How do you measure the potential energy? Do you not have a duplexed microphone? Do you not know when someone else is talking to you, Jimbo? You just continually talk, mate. Get a duplexed audio system, will you, so that you can understand. My point is, how do you measure that potential energy in the bowling ball 10 feet off the ground?
How much
work it's able to do? How much force it exerts at the end of its process?
These are all concepts, just like time. Energy is a concept just like time. So if you can't measure time,
that's what I'm trying to get to right the hand.
But they measured it out. They saw how much of a dent or whatever a bowling ball would leave or move something at the end of its falling process or whatever, and they tried to put that into some sort of computable form, for better or for worse.
Oh yeah, but that's taking a result and then like posthumously applying it to the past. Like you don't get to measure the dent size and be like, oh, it did have this much energy. Like
it did have, exactly, Bob.
Yeah, all you would be doing is
have the bowling ball, and then you have the bowling ball's ability to do something, some sort of transferable quality that bowling ball didn't have at rest, aka work to make a dent, to push something, to move something, to do something else other than just stand there and be or whatever.
Work is a conceptual verb. You're talking about motion. You're talking about the energy. The word you're using right now, energy, is bullshit. It's a conceptual term to describe motion. You're not transferring energy. You're transferring motion. When you pick up a ball, you don't input energy. You input motion. Why do you think the ball moves and doesn't get energized? It literally moves. You put motion into it. That's such a much better way than energy.
Yeah. It's a concept to cover the difference between something being its essence versus some sort of transferable thing about that thing that can be transported to another object, a push, a motion, heat, energy, whatever, some sort of transferable essence of that object that we call AKA energy, AKA work, whatever.
But the words you're using are description words that don't actually describe, they're just concepts, whereas motion is what is actually happening. The object is not energizing. The object is not whatever word you're going to say. The object moves. So if you're going to pick up a rock and input energy or anything, you would input motion. And then when you let go, why does it move? Because you put motion into it. So yes, the motion is going to leave it until it stops moving. That makes so much more sense.
That concept covers part of it, but what do you deal with when all objects appear to be in some sort of motion? At that point, it becomes meaningless to speak about its motion if everything's vibrating, assuming everything's vibrating.
Well, I don't assume. Why would you would assume. If you want to assume, yeah. If you want to assume, this is what you do, Lemon.
All objects don't appear to be in motion.
You start your entire basis on an assumption. That's crazy.
Well, the thing is, you just tear apart the philosophy, but don't offer anything coherent to replace it. So how do you define motion if everything is in motion and vibrating? How do you define motion in a useful way for science to be able to deal with then, right, the hand, if everything is in vibratory motion anyway, according to the atomic theory? How do you define motion?
But I don't need to define. I don't have to accept the atomic theory.
Just tearing apart the philosophy, but you don't have anything to replace it with.
Lemon, I was fucking talking. Lemon, I was talking. You're just interrupting now, so you have no idea what I was going to say. So clearly,
okay,
stop talking.
by the way, we're beginning, but please continue.
Slow down, guys. No
Lemon,
one can hear
stop
anything.
talking. Yeah, because Lemon's just interrupting me. Lemon, I don't need to make up some paradigm bullshit, okay, to explain your philosophical meanderings. We went through this last fucking night, bro. Just because you want to contemplate on motion, okay? Motion is moving over Earth. It's that fucking simple. Earth doesn't move, and that's how we track motion, okay? Because if the fucking town you lived in moved, right, everything would be chaos. The motion is
Right the hand.
relevant to Earth. That's how we track motion, okay?
Right the hand.
Yup.
But people who build things, they need these systems to understand what they're doing.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
I
they
build
do.
things all the
show
time.
me one person who has considered the atomic theory and everything vibrating all at once to build
Oh
something.
no.
I've built
Yeah.
things
Oh,
and I've
I'm-
never once had to consider that.
No, Real Bob. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about more simple things like velocity and measuring things like distances and like
Accelerate.
But there's okay,
things
but now
that
you're
exist
making a
here in
different
real life.
argument. Okay, you're making a different
I
argument now.
apologize.
There's
Then. All right.
There's
all
nothing wrong with multiple people, a group of people, even a lot of people, even all people agreeing on a standard and deciding that's the standard they're going to use. Okay, like an inch. If everybody agrees that an inch is an inch, that's fine. Everybody can use
That's
the
fine.
inch. It can become a standard of measurement, and it's okay for the whole world to use it. But the moment you claim that an inch is somehow real, it exists in reality as a thing, you're wrong. It doesn't exist. An inch is a concept, and that's okay. Concepts are fine. We use them all the time to get things done. And no, I don't think Right the Hand is arguing against that. I hope he's not, because concepts can be useful. But the moment
As
you
long
take it
as
from
the
concept and say
concepts-
this thing exists in reality now you've crossed a line and you're wrong. You're 100% incorrect about what you're saying.
As long as the concept refers to something in reality, we don't have a problem. A hot dog is one thing. It's neither hot nor a dog. Well, maybe it's hot, but it refers to a new thing when you put those words together in a new combination as a device to help you remember this hot dog, this thing that it's referring to.
Okay, but
as
now
long as the concept refers to
making
reality,
an even separate
good.
argument from the one he did. Okay, now you're talking about the label of things, and again, a label. If everybody agrees that red is actually going to be called green now, we can call it green, and that's fine. But it won't change the thing that your eye is actually seeing. You'll still see whatever it is you're pointing at.
But you have two ideas now that have to exchange. Red now needs to become green. Green now needs to become red. And the combinations that combine with those two concepts now need to change. Red purple is now green purple. Green red is now red green.
You complaining about how the system might fall apart or have issues is not the same as something being real. It doesn't matter. Yes, the system might fail, or the system might have issues, or the system might have some troubles. That doesn't change the fact that the concept you're talking about itself is not real.
But it refers to something real, though. The concept itself,
that's fine. It can refer to something real if you want it to. That's fine. But the concept itself is not real, and that's the point.
And we have to distinguish this because I can start talking about a unicorn. Now, a unicorn is a concept, but it's not real. Now, if you don't have this designation between conceptual reality of acceleration or time or these things, then you can build the ball. And this is how they do it, through concepts slowly becoming real. Like the microphone falls, therefore the concept of gravity slowly becomes real, and they build around it.
They're just saying gravity refers to a natural phenomenon of something falling. They just put that under the banner of quote unquote gravity, but you know what they're trying to say. The main thing is picking apart
that's
the part
not all they do. That's one of the
and
things
the part
that they do.
does not.
That's one of the things that they do. That is not all they do with gravity.
The main thing is asking people what they mean when they refer to gravity. Most of the time, they talk about something pulled to the center of the Earth's mass and hovering there if it's pulled for long enough, according to some of the theory. Space-time curving, despite the fact that they can't put space-time in a jar, that sort of thing. If they can't refer to reality with that stuff, that's when it gets really theoretical.
So you would ask them to clarify what they're talking about, right?
Can we measure space-time? Yes. Is that something we can measure?
Okay, so whenever you ask them to clarify what they're talking about, that would be similar to me telling SE. If he would just clarify he's talking about a different acceleration than everyone else, that would be the same thing.
Don't change the
because that's
story.
exactly what I asked him to do. Was just admit he's talking about a different acceleration than the one that's generally accepted as acceleration, the one that involves time as part of its calculation.
Like
If
the
he's
gravity.
talking about something
I
else,
was
I'm
very,
okay with
very
that.
clear. Very
Like the
clear.
gravity that includes mass attracting mass. That's what most people think of when you say gravity. They'll say, yeah, mass attracting mass. And then you could get into then be like, no, it's space-time bending, or you can get into and be like, no, it's actually bullshit. You can go either way. I choose
Even
to
if
go
they,
with bullshit.
even if they say, oh yeah, objects fall down, that's gravity, there's a good chance that what they're actually thinking about in their mind is the Earth is pulling that thing down because of its gravity. And even though they might not say the words, that's them saying, yes, mass attracting mass.
It's a magic trick. This is how they do it.
Yeah. There's nothing magic about it.
About what? So how does the Earth manipulate the object to make it fall down if it's not magic?
The only problem with gravity is, the people that, push it are mechanical, atomists who don't allow anything to have any sort of occult, qualities from God, from spirit, nothing that can't be accounted for, like gears and motor parts in like a truck. That's what they think of reality as with the cult of bumping particles. But they allow gravity to have this intrinsically occult quality where somehow mass attracts mass. There's no shape. There's no limit to it. It just reaches out across the universe. It's like very occult, despite the fact that some of these people push, stuff that denies occult qualities like, spirit, God, and anything that's hidden that they can't account for. They allow it with gravity. So it's kind of a very big contradiction there in a way.
Which even Newton thought was a ridiculous idea.
Sorry, Brandon.
No, I was just going to say Newton thought that it was a ridiculous idea himself. So let's not forget that.
He didn't want to be associated with it, right? He told that guy, don't put my name on this. I don't think anyone who's thinking clearly could possibly think that what you're saying is accurate, right? I mean, that's basically paraphrasing what he said in that letter.
Yeah.
And why would he say that? Because they don't have a mechanism. Because they will tell you that the Earth pulls things down magically. A force field. A sphere of influence that has no touching. It just does it. They'll tell you that's how magic works. If I lifted something up, you couldn't see anything me doing it, right? The object just appeared to lift up, and there was no magnets, it was plastic, and I was like, yo, that's magic. You couldn't argue with me. Because
literally that is magic. So then they had to ascribe some kind of mechanical physicality to it. So then they invent another invisible, intangible thing called space-time to then somehow pretend that there is a mechanism that's attached to it that we can't see, touch, feel, or prove, but it explains it. Because outside of that, it is magic.
And it basically takes the place of what would have traditionally been spirit. We usually left the stuff that was unseen in the unseen world to the spirit, but, these are atheists, materialist atheists. They're trying to get rid of the spirit, but they still need some sort of unseen thing like gravity to glue it all together anyway. So they kind of come back to it, but now their big G, God is little g gravity.
That's all we see is the power of the word of God. That's all it is.
So in case anybody is wondering why it's important for us to make clear the situation with concepts not being real and things you can actually observe are real and what words actually mean, that's why. Because what they do, like Right the Hand has said, they get their words in there, and their words do have meaning, whether you like the meaning or not. They have meaning behind those words, and they basically, in a kind of a stealthy, tactical way, they create their world through these words, with like getting you to talk. They get you to talk about it. They get you to discuss
like
these
God,
things
bro.
that they've made up.
The devil wants to be just like God, and God created his world with the word. So the devil will create his world with the word. And his word is just the spoken verbal, right? Whereas God, his mechanism, whatever it was, again, the time for another talk, but look at how everything the devil does mimics God. And he made the ball earth through nothing but verbal words.
And that's the thing, when there's equivocation like this, double check what they're talking about, because normally there's some sort of slight change in the meaning and what it means when you're talking about gravity like mass attracting mass, or gravity as space time. What exactly are they talking about? Because normally you can see the equivocation and why there's this miscommunication.
Without going into distance, and let's talk about time a little bit. I'd like to throw a wrench into the mix. So, the concept of time, sorry, and I'm going to use conceptual words that we all understand, so don't get on me about that. The concept of time kind of would maybe include like a starting and an ending point. So when I start a stopwatch and I end the stopwatch, I look at these digital numbers and I can come up with the concept of, I would say time, devil's time, the concept of time. Can we kind of agree on that?
Well, hold on. I actually made a video on this, and you actually you're referring to the space in between those points, right? So when you go, and that's the fucking thing. So they'll go A or start, stop, right? Now, time is not the start or the stop. It's that space in between. How do you quantify that?
Yeah. Well, but so we can just on the surface level, the concept of time could be taken as the space in between that motion where I push the start button and I push the stop button, right? That would be the concept of a time.
Yeah, basically, the time is identifying the 2 points and then recognizing the in between of those 2 points. That's how we actually tell time.
But that time doesn't actually that time in between there is not a real thing, right?
No, it's the connection of events. So you'll say if somebody was running past, if you had somebody running past different color poles, right? You would be like, oh, you can start it at the red pole to blue pole, or blue pole to yellow pole. You know what I mean?
Like from the start to the end, or something. The beginning to the end, or something. We're under the agreement that's a conceptual thing. It's not real.
Yeah, because nothing is starting or stopping. It's a it's an
now here's the wrench right at the hand. What are the first 3 words of the Bible?
In the beginning.
From that point to the end, is it all fake?
That would be.
He's not saying that it's fake. He's not saying that
it would be the start
of real.
Well, no, the real thing is the start of the events, right? The world started. That was when he spoke, or whatever the speaking was. That's the start.
But in between that, in between God's words and the end of days, the end of the book, the end of the word, can we say it's just as conceptual as the time I was just talking about on a stopwatch?
No, because he says in the beginning, and then he goes and set things in motion.
So
we don't have a right to call everything he did fake. He made it. So if he calls it real, then it's
I
real.
didn't call it fake, Bob. Why don't you listen a little bit? Okay, I was asking.
Oh, it sounded like you used the word fake.
Well, just not real.
Didn't he?
Fictitious, whatever. Right? Not real.
Been something real that he touched, right? Or he created something real that he manipulated to start. So he can't.
No, he's just saying.
I'm just throwing a wrench in the mix, something to think about. We don't got to talk about it right now. Just think about it.
I know, but he's saying at this point, I set things in motion, right? For what I understand.
Yeah.
And so what about before that?
At this point.
But that's not.
The other thing is time.
But that's
time is presented. Time is presented to us.
Are you going to interpret?
Time is presented to us as being linear. Like there's a beginning and there's an end, and we picture it in our mind like there's a big line on a piece of paper, beginning, end, middle. But time is time just a point? Time is right now. There's no
right.
The only thing that's happening is right now.
No, there is no such thing as time. Time is a man-made concept.
Sure, exactly. It's presented to us as a line, though, a beginning and an end. Beginning of your life to the end of your life. It's
negative.
A line.
Sorry, guys.
Well, let's define time as the passage of events in the big.
Do you deny
even before
that people have ever mentioned a timeline, like literally a timeline? Like that's a thing that people try to bring up, right? So yes, it is presented sometimes as a line with a beginning and an end in the form of a timeline.
As humans use this thing we call time, but time does not exist. You cannot measure it. You cannot bend it. You cannot incorporate it into a fabric. You cannot do nothing with it.
You can't use it to acceleration.
Exactly. You cannot use it to determine acceleration. Exactly.
Why
Wait,
not?
you say a timeline is just a set of events, though. It's all it is.
To us. To us. What is time to an animal?
It's a set of events.
What is time to a
Aren't all
rock?
events connected? Aren't all events connected? So you can't separate them into sets, right? Even you, where you are right now, is connected to me and what I'm doing, right? So we don't have these separate events. We have just one unique event, ongoing, ever changing.
Yes, I'll
Well,
agree with
time
that.
is actually talked about in the concept of something with a memory that remembers all the events that transpired, really. You're talking about
Basically,
yesterday,
time is a
today, and
marcation.
tomorrow.
You're
As long
creating
as we
file tabs
understand
when
that
you
this
cal-
is
when you
the
calculate
thing
time or
that
whatever.
we call time. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as time. We use it for whatever measurements or whatever, but time does not exist. It's a man-made thing.
It's a
Is it a
catalog
useful
system.
concept?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Organization.
we can use it. I'll meet you at 3:00. You know, yeah. But
It's useful, but we shouldn't
we shouldn't try to claim that it's a
quantify
real
it
thing.
and put the
yeah, like we
okay.
can't
So
when they
so
say
it's
they
useful.
incorporate
It's
space-time
useful.
to the
It's
fabric.
useful.
That's
But we
nonsense.
should. It's
So
useful,
I
but
have
we
a
shouldn't
question.
use it to do real things. Is what you said, Bob?
Time is a
Hey, how you doing?
recognition of the regular flow of events. You know, winter followed by summer followed by fall, followed by, or winter followed by spring, followed by summer, followed by fall. Like clockwork. It's a
No,
recognition of the
winter,
regular
summer,
flow of
fall. All that's
events.
a concept. If time is not, if time is a
That's
concept,
why.
right?
That's why when people say travel in time and it's all fantasy, it's like it cannot be done. It's just.
Do you listen to some of the lectures of these guys, Green and that? They're in fantasy land. They think that you can divide time, you can slice time, you can go back in time. They think that you can exist in the past, present, and future all in one
Well,
time, like
well,
insanity.
they well, all you have to do is pay attention of the movies, right? And all they talk about is the multiverse and time, and these people are really involved. Like Glovers are really involved in fantasy movies, Marvel, and all that has to do with fantasy.
Well,
So
no.
of course they're gonna
Also,
believe this shit. They think they get it
You're
wrong.
roboting Silent Zero. You might want to drop and come back in. Sorry.
Well, that's
time
what
is
you get with a materialistic conception that says everything must be a material, including concepts like time, if they have any relation to the real world. That's like materialism on steroids.
they use time in their model to explain events. Okay, so that's why it's so important. Okay, this whole thing, like, will they be like, oh, when something starts going faster, quote, it gets smaller, right? So now they need that time factor. Like things can even be not affected by time, right? So to help explain their model why something is where it should be.
I would
Oh
make
well,
the
it's going so fast, it's not affected by time. So
I would make the
Well,
comparison right to hand. I would make the comparison right to hand with the Big Bang, right? So there was a beginning, and then this acceleration, these conceptual things, just like you're talking about. The motion, let's call it motion, not acceleration. So there was a beginning,
the Big
and
Bang-
then
the Big
motion.
Bang
Now,
start.
what is the difference from the first 3 words of the Bible, or the first verse or chapter or whatever, right? Where there was a beginning, and then the stars, sun, moon, and earth. I don't know if it says rotate, maybe it says move or travel, but kind of like that, right?
Well, the thing is,
The Big Bang is 3 words too. In the beginning, the Big Bang. Think about that.
the thing is, in the meditation and different spiritual states, these people probably had a different conception of time. So they may have had these, fever visions or whatever, where they got this inspiration and they felt like they were gone for years and they came back and it was like a moment. So they might have been on spiritual planes where quote unquote time flowed differently. But at that point, time is just the flow of events based off of the world that you're in, the body that you have, and the processes that you're going through. It's basically a general catalog of the processes that are allowed to take place per unit time, depending on, I guess, your dimension or wherever the hell you are or whatever.
What does all that mean?
That means that if you're in a different dimension, you can have 10 processes occur in 1 second. But here in our plane, you might only have one process that
Are you
occurs per unit time.
are you talking about
Metabolism,
space
the
time?
flow of motion,
Are you
reaction
talking
time,
about space
stuff
time,
like that.
Lemon?
No, this is a different
It kind of
conception of
sounds like.
time on a dimensional level.
You're talking about
It's
location or
dimension time.
place, and then this passage of something. Right? Kind of sounds
Oh,
like
yeah,
Dimensional level.
dimension, yeah. They meditated, went to another spiritual dimension where time passes by differently. You can have like 10 processes in 1 unit of time versus one in ours or whatever, and things flow very differently there.
I'm gonna press X to doubt on that one.
Well, if you want to go super materialistic, I guess you can go, in another conception, but I acknowledge the spiritual world and the non-physical.
Have you ever experienced anything like that yourself, Lemon?
Only briefly.
Like in dreams or something you're talking about, because dreams do obviously have a skewed time compared to our waking hours, in my opinion.
I go super metaphysical with it and say that our world vibrates at a certain frequency where certain processes are available based off of that rate of vibration. If you vibrate into another dimension, things are very different there.
Isn't this what Joe Rogan's always talking about with his ayahuasca and that kind of shit, talking to these other beings? I don't know anything about it, but it sounds similar to what he's always bringing up. Not to smear you with Joe Rogan.
Something similar to that. When you take drugs, you become an antenna for other beings to inhabit you as you get lose the connection to your body, and so you may be
possibly go wrong with that.
Normally see.
That's called tripping.
Tripping, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what it's called. Yep, tripping.
That was the other experience besides dreams that I remembered too. Yeah, that's a very different experience of time.
Apparently, they go into a trance where they meet some sort of animal spirit, and they take him into this wild fantasy ride. That's what they say. The shamans.
Well, I think of it, with my, woo theory or whatever, as basically a dance. Our atoms, in mostly empty space, I'd say ether, but basically they're dancing around other atoms. And if the dance is really well choreographed, your atoms can dance right over the atoms of a demon in another dimension. You wouldn't even notice that they were there. The dance is that well choreographed. Now, if you change the beat and the rhythm of the dance of your atoms and or the demon's atoms, it may manifest in our dimension. It may not. Maybe this is woo. But I think we basically have dimensions layered on top of other dimensions in basically the same space by this dance of frequency.
Have you ever
Almost
had a
like a
dream where you're a
beautiful-
completely different person, and in your dream you really were that person? You could feel it, that like you inhabited that other person. You had their memories. It was like your brain even worked differently.
Yeah. I think
I used to think that is woo until you see, you guys seen these children that are born and they know how to speak like 5-6 languages.
Yeah, I've heard the stories. Yeah.
That's kind of trippy. I don't know how true that is, but I've seen video and you see them talking like young people talking different languages.
Well, on the woo side, on the darker side of this woo, I think his name Denye Okechwu, an African pastor, was talking about how they tortured kids for adrenochrome, and that on a spiritual level, these kids are covered with this sheen of life. It looks like they're wrapped in translucent paper, and it's this energy that gives them life. And by the time you grow up to be like an adult, that sheen of life is only it reaches up from your foot to your head. But when you're an adult, it's like from like an inch off of your feet. There's hardly any left. And these dark beings feed off of that and, basically suck that energy up. So maybe these kids have a totally different wavelength and energy level or whatever that they're operating on. And maybe they have access to things that we don't normally see. Like when a kid is just smiling at you, I think that the kid sees something that you don't see. Maybe the kid can see your aura. Maybe it can see a demon or an angel that's beside you. It's like dogs. They just start barking at nothing. I think they're probably barking at some demon from hell, maybe some witch that's astral projected or something that we can't readily see.
I think the best and most well documented example of this kind of phenomena is oh shoot, I just forgot the name, where you wake up, sleep paralysis. And these people from all over the globe describe these, like this woman or these
all over
malevolent spirits that basically sit on their chest or take the breath from them or are extremely mean to them while they're, they can't move in their body. They're stuck in their body.
In BC, there were a lot of immigrants from Vietnam as a result of the war. And there were a lot of them that died after complaining these, avenging demons. They come, they sit on your chest at night, and they won't let you move, and they suffocate you. And people were dying from it, claiming that these demons followed them over to punish them for leaving the country.
The hag, the night hag or whatever.
Yeah, they were physically dying. And even before they died, many of them were saying that this demon thing was sitting on them, trying to kill them, suffocate them.
My wife's grandfather had that exact experience.
Really?
Can we give total?
What did he say?
Well, something. It was in his house. He was in his 80s. So he was a Freemason when he was younger, but he said there was a woman in a black, like a black nurse's uniform, almost is how he described it. And my wife's grandmother will also tell the story that he woke up. She woke up to the sound of him choking in their bed here, and she woke him up, and he described that there was a woman this woman was on his chest and physically choking him.
Who the hell knows? It just seems like there's too many stories for all of that crap to be just made up imagination shit, or
Can we give total credit to the human mind then? Just like Ranty was saying, interconnectedness. And,
no, it's not all psychosomatic if that's what you're inferring.
How do we attribute it to that,
though, Aaron?
You
don't give
Aaron?
credit to the human mind, do you, Jimbo?
Can you hear me?
I do, but come on, give some credit to other things, like I don't always agree with them, but like Lemon said, there are parallel universes at different frequency within our very realm that we are.
Where did that concept come from? Out of Lemon?
Testimony of occultists who talk about visiting.
Where did they get the concept
cities.
of that? And how did you intake that?
Even all the way back to ancient
rituals and
text,
visions,
witchcraft and summonings, and come on, where'd they get it from? It's always been there. Who are you to ask where'd they get it from? We could answer that anyway. It called for speculation.
Basically, at this point, physicality becomes something that vibrates in sync with you, that you can interact with visually, touch it, sense it, and it will interact with you. What is spiritual or non-physical is that which dances right through you and does not.
I'm not saying that I disrespect Lemon's expressions here, Jimbo. So how dare you disrespect mine?
How dare you?
How dare you? God
damn it.
How dare you?
Did you take your hat off when you said that?
Did you slap him with a velvet glove and see you at noon?
Smack.
How dare you?
These questions are
you to a duel.
to answer, really.
Yeah, but Jimbo, a lot of times you just think that you're the end all be all of stuff, kind of like Pete Shea. So I'm just throwing that at you in good sense, with the velvet glove, throwing it right in your face.
All I said was that you're just asking questions like, break the flow. That's all you're doing on any
kind of
topic.
relevant to the topic, wasn't it?
To break in the flow, yes, very relative. You're doing a good job. Keep up.
Relevant, not relative. Relevant.
And basically, there has to be the physical stuff, okay, but the non-physical stuff to offer connection, especially in atomism, which basically reduces things down to these marbles. You put the marbles in a jar like this atomistic conception says with atoms and stuff. There's all these spaces between the marbles. What's in that space? More marbles between the marbles? What's between the marbles and the spaces between the marbles and the interstitial spaces? Is it more marbles, or is it something that tends not to take form, like, say, oh, I don't know, a sea of ether to connect all those
Why does there
marbles
have to
together?
be something in between all those marbles? Why can't a
It's
lump of marbles be sitting on the ground with other free-flowing marbles and superfluid up and around them?
it would be nothing next to something, and at
That's
that
not
point, nothing
nothing.
would be
Air
interacting with.
and water in the air and particulate around rocks on the ground is not nothing.
Aren't they
So you're
saying
saying
it's
between
You
those
want to
atoms?
generate ether? Ether is the unicorn gas of the next generation, I guess. Something that you could never touch, never feel, never smell. But we're going to base all science on looking for this ether and kind of sneaking around to try to see if we can see both its nose and its arse at some
Dude,
I was
point
going
in
to say
history.
it's like dragon's piss, Jimbo. It just we can't see the dragon, we can't see the piss, but it's everywhere.
Yeah, you just
All
have
the
to
yeah.
time.
admit it's there.
It's almost
Everyone
like
Yeah,
agrees
coffee.
it's there.
for
We're
example,
gonna
Jimbo,
like keep
do
mumbling the word.
demons breathe? I mean, do they have a heartbeat and stuff?
They have rules that they work by in their realm, but they appear to be eternal in that they don't have a body like us. They have different
Exactly.
requirements. It looks like they're looking for a body more than
Hmm.
anything. When they don't have a body, they're just under totally different rules. You have to invite them into your life. You have to give them legal right to enter and to wreak havoc by
Why would
doing
they?
a
Why would
Ouija
they want a
board.
body?
And
Why would they want a mind? When you say body, I'm assuming you mean mind, body, soul, right?
probably because they can't do anything. They can't operate here unless they have a flesh suit or something that vibrates in tandem with our world so they can interact. Otherwise,
Sure.
they're just floating around uninteracted with.
Sure, like a mind, right? Just to bring
They need
full
to have
circle.
some sort of thing to help them operate around here, a car, a flesh suit, a body, a legal right to enter, stuff
Do
like
demons
that.
have a mind of their own of some sort?
It looks like they're
What's a
beings, and
mind,
yes, they
Aaron?
do. Yeah. It looks like they're beings like you and me with a mind,
How do you,
will,
how do you know so much
volitional
about them?
ability
You
of
got to
mind.
define. Hang on, you got to define mind before you can continue this conversation. What do
Able
you,
to make
you don't mean like the
choices.
fleshy
The
brain
mind
there,
is
Jim?
undefinable,
Yeah.
Effie. You know
It
this.
Oh, there you go.
Ability to make choices and ability to choose to interact or not
If
to.
I could define my own mind, I'd be God, right? Wouldn't I?
If they
Well,
come
see,
in
what's
ill,
the difference between mind and like soul and spirit? What's mind and what? I think mind is soul,
Father,
isn't it? And
Son, Holy
spirit.
Ghost. What's the difference? Right?
Mind has control. Soul and spirit are more of an essence. Mind, you can decide how to build it. Soul and spirit, there's less of an ability to do that. The spirit would be given by God or whatever in your conception, and the soul would be refined and crafted by man. It's how you change the spirit that God gave you through your experiences, your choices, your personality. It's like a refined spirit that you change with subtle choices or whatever.
But undefined. It might be refined, but it's undefined.
Because when God gives you a spirit, it's like a blank slate of life or whatever, or something like that. And then the choices to do good or bad in your life will change your soul and change its quality, your spirit, into a different type of soul or whatever.
Do you think your personality is shaped by your experience and your life, Lemon, or do you think it's given to you by God?
50-50, but you can give two people the same experiences and they can make radically different choices, even if they
Absolutely
So
right.
that's what I'm saying. So your
we're all the
personality.
same. We're all born equal, and the decisions we make,
you're talking within a whole population of other minds. If there was just two people, like Effie asked, or Lemon Lemon kind of retorted to, if there's just two, would they make totally different irrational decisions, rational
It
decisions?
don't matter what others do. It matters what you do in the end.
What I'm saying, Jimbo, is there is nobody else except those two minds that God gave.
There is no
to
present. You wake up and you're dealing with what was created in the past.
Yeah.
Where is this going?
You're on the wrong page again,
We're in the
Jimbo.
present.
You're on the wrong page again, Jimbo. You're on the wrong page.
Well, the only problem with that is the mind is passive. The mind is nothing without input. So that implies something that made reality to give inputs to the mind anyway, because the mind is not an active principle. It can't generate anything actively. It can only generate passively after receiving inputs from the outside, at least if it's working properly.
Sure, God created one mind, put you into this nature, put you into this nature that it's just you and God and nature, regardless of shape. Just you, God, and nature, and then another mind. God creates another mind. Do you think the two, we'll call it earthly minds would kind of think the same, react the same? Would they have different personalities? You think you'd
Is your
fight each
spirit
other?
I think so,
independent of your
totally.
body?
If you get two babies and you put them through exactly the same set of circumstances, same family, same upbringing, same everything, at the age of 18, one of those children could be a driven captain of industry, task-oriented, achieving superstar, and the other one can be a laid-back, chilled, video game playing hippie. The personality is I don't believe is from nurture. I think it's from nature. It's God given.
Well,
You are what
yeah,
you are, and
partly
that's how
too.
you'll live your life out through that.
But we would never know that, Effie, is what I'm saying.
Identical
Because
No,
we
it's
have
not empirical. It's
others
Identical
not
around
twins
empirical.
us.
separated
So
at
many
birth that
outside
never met
influences.
each other. Both wore turtleneck shirts, sweaters were their favorites. They both married women named Debbie. They both had similar jobs. They had never met each other. Is that
But that's not
coincidence, or
personality.
yeah, is there partly genetic resonance in there? Genetic memory or experience?
I thought
There's
we're
got to
trying to
be
get
something
down. I
to
thought
that.
we're
If
trying to
you
get
Father,
down to
consider
the
heart
singularity,
transplant,
like
liver
Lemon was
transplant.
saying, dude, like the atom, and just how do they interact
I
with
thought we were
each
trying to figure
other?
out
It's just
acceleration.
two of them.
Is there memories transferred with genetics and DNA experience?
No, seriously,
We
you
don't
guys
know.
heard liver plant patients, heart plant patients. They say that after they had the transplant, like this, all of a sudden they started liking ice cream, for example, something they never really liked. But then they found out the person that they gave them the liver, let's say, or whatever, they liked ice cream, stuff like that, you know.
Or
Yeah, it kind
McNuggets
of
when you got
goes
the
with this
lungs.
sort of woo, framework to at least make it intelligible by saying that liver was vibrating with resonant frequency that loved ice cream. And when it's, ice cream is around, it's like the liver's like, I want ice cream, or the heart, or this organ, or whatever.
If I'm not sure, they won't transfer organs from a person who committed suicide or was known to commit suicide, because that's
Maybe the guy,
transferred to the host, the new host too.
maybe the dude spat just making excuses for why he ate a lot of ice cream.
Well, the thing is that even if that person commits suicide, we have moral will. You're going to need to exert your will over that liver or whatever and be like, I'm not killing myself. I don't care who you came from. You're going to get to work and we're going to live. That's where moral choice,
Well,
spirit,
it's
seen would.
so profound you can't stop yourself from having McNuggets when you got someone's McNugget lungs, or
But
ice cream when you got their
SE,
liver.
SE, after a traumatic surgery and stuff, isn't the first thing you get at a hospital like a bowl of ice cream, right? Isn't that kind of what
Look,
they do?
I'm not saying I believe it, Aaron. I'm just saying what the stories say.
That used to be for the
that
tonsils
could
for
possibly
children.
create the taste. They're like, damn, you just woke up from a induced coma, and you're
Yeah,
like,
or
man,
he
I
just
love ice
became a
cream.
slob, like right the hand said, and he's using it as an excuse. It's not me, it's the liver.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, I get the feeling from you that you don't put too much stock in any of this stuff, like that we've been talking about, demons, out of body experience, that kind of stuff. Or is that all seem like
I
woo to
do
you? Or
greatly, but only on my personal level. So I don't think it's just not beneficial for me to talk about my personal experience, only because I do believe we're all, and I'll use this word, individual, separate. We have our own little, I'll call it worlds, mental worlds we live in, and I don't, you know what I mean when I try to explain that. Like, we're not one big group of society like Jimbo's kind of trying to put us together in.
Never do. We're all
each
individuals. We're all created equal, and we all have the same freedoms at
No,
birth.
we're not. Listen, you're not created
Whatever.
equal. Okay. Except for mind, body, soul. If it's creator granted, right? Maybe that's true. But don't tell me about rights. We're all created equal and we all have the same rights and crap.
Not. I'm talking. We come out at birth. We're all the fucking same. Not
Sounds like you don't
Democrat,
understand what
liberal,
rights
and
are.
Are we?
nothing.
Are
Come
we,
on,
Jimbo?
guy.
So basically, Brandon, here's what I'm saying. So Jimbo says I'm just like Jimbo, and I would say no.
Oh, you were born the same frickin' way. The rest is your book.
What do you mean born the same way? You mean the process?
Mine is my book. You were born on a date, probably at a
Means
hospital,
nurture
in
over
what they call a
nature.
maternity ward. Right? Is it a good guess? You weren't just plopped
no.
out somewhere in a park somewhere, right?
Well,
What?
okay. What? First of all, what
Seems like a
what
strange point
stage?
to
At
make.
what stage of creation, life creation, are you gonna say born means? You mean popping out of the mama,
When they cut your umbilical cord, let's try
or
then.
or when
That's the day you die.
consciousness starts to form, a seed starts to grow, right, and a brain starts to
Well, we're
form.
not talking about
okay?
abortion.
Okay.
We're not.
See,
You're moving the goalposts
no,
again.
I'm
You're
talking
creating
about
new
the
words
process
and new
of
conversation
creation.
and new ways to
Okay.
piss me off. So go screw yourself.
Okay, so
Well, anyway, the
that's
in
my
the
point,
mind,
Randy.
body,
Yeah, so
soul.
I not that I don't buy into it. It's just that I think it's just more personal. But I love listening to Lemon and Jimbo and all y'all talk about it. That's
Okay.
Well, in the mind, body, soul, trichotomy or whatever, I guess God can give you a starter pack with free will. You choose what you want to do or whatever with the soul. That's your starter pack. It unifies with your body, which is basically a big energy battery that can take energy from you, other spirits, demons from hell, the environment. It is a big energy battery. And the mind is the interface between the two. If there is a seamless interface and your mind hasn't been, hit over the head with a hammer, destroyed by vaccines or some sort of, issue, it will be a seamless interface between what your soul, if anything, wants to do and or what the body executes. And so that appears to be the soul to the mind to the body connection, with this flesh suit being a repository for energy. You can let in positive energy. You can let in negative energy. You can formulate your will, your soul, your body with a different interplay of energy, from the environment, from food, from demons from hell,
Sure.
from
I get it. And
all of
but
this
Lemon
works
Bird,
together.
Jimbo's saying that without a maternity ward, you wouldn't exist.
Is that what you're saying, Jimbo? I feel
Not
like
at
your message
all.
is being
0%. Oh, absolutely. This guy's a joke. I don't
That's
even
what you
want to
said. Jimbo
answer.
said I'd just be
He'll just
plopped
take
out into nature.
whatever I say
Jimbo,
or
you just
interrupt. I
said
won't be
without
able
a
to finish.
maternity
So I'm
ward,
just going to shut
I'd
up
be
in this
popped out into
conversation.
nature, right?
All
Popped out
I've
on the
done,
ground is what you said, right,
one
Jimbo?
day, maybe this
Still, hold
episode,
on.
we'll get to it later. I published one picture in the back there, the photo I took, a little shot. If one time during this 2 hours we get to it, I'm happy with that.
All right, you know what?
Till then, enjoy.
We'll bring it up in a minute. I'm going to do some plugging. Silent Zero did have a super chat a long time ago. He came in, so I didn't read it right away, but he said, $5 US. Thanks, Silent Zero. I would say that God put things in motion. So I think he came in and said what he had to say. I'm not sure we need to respond to that, but thanks, Silent Zero. And we have a new way to support the show, which is via Streamlabs. If you've never used it, it's really easy. If you have a PayPal account, it's really, really easy. And none of the money goes to Google. So I'm putting the link in the chat. It's also on the screen on the main page. You should see it right now. And when what is essentially a super chat comes in through Streamlabs, get a little message on the screen like that.
This is a test donation for $36.
And it reads it during the show. So that's that. Try it out if you want. But we got another super chat came in. Godzilla 37. The day Lemon Bird runs out of things to speculate on is also the day the world ends. I hope that's true. I like Lemon's speculation. I enjoy listening to you, Lemon. Even though I don't know half of what you're talking about. I don't know anything about demons. I don't know anything about that, but this is interesting stuff.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Let me bring that up, Jimbo. You put it in general, you said?
Well, can I, Brandon, real quick?
Yeah,
can
I
I just
think
go
it's
to
in
the
general.
other end of the spectrum here? You don't know anything about demons and possibly these what Lemon's talking about. Do you know anything about love?
I do know about love a little bit. Yeah, you're talking about between like a man and woman or kids or just in general love.
Just the concept.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, broken hearts. I mean, these are what we would describe as effects of, let's say, you lose a child or just deep love. You know what I mean? So when you ask me talking about demons and stuff, that's where I say, well, it's kind of personal, you know. So you and me aren't going to sit here and talk about how much we love something, really, whether it is your kin, lady, other people, just reality, your life, these things. It's not something that you can explain. You know what I mean? So that I would feel it.
Mm.
I wouldn't be able to feel it.
I can't make you feel love. No, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, spiritually, it looks like if I wanted to go wooey, you'd start with a pattern, a general frequency, a pattern that's going to be filled later. It starts vibrating within you. You're like, what the hell is this? It's love, but you don't know it. The pattern's there. And then you just follow the pattern. It tells you do this to strengthen this pattern or weaken it or just get rid of it. It starts with a frequency. Something that you feel. You don't have words for it yet. You don't know how to operate with it yet. But eventually this pattern helps guide the rest.
We've also been taught that love comes from actions, right? So we know our parents love us from their actions, but there are some certain and very rare circumstances where you have a buddy who met a girl and the dude is seriously head over heels, right? I mean, and so is she. Like that frequency, they are just, you know what I mean? Just matching and matching, and you can hear the sound come out when they come together and hold hands. I love my wife, I love my family, I love everything, but I'm not yelling at the top of my lungs about it. Where certain folks are, and it must be or could be something like Lemon saying, where there's just a couple frequencies, almost like magnets or whatever. You just get that force, but it's not every one of us feel that way unless there's an act. Let's say somebody attacks your wife or child or family or loved one or property or whatever. Yes, you're going to react with a similar reaction to, this is my love and you are not going to take it. But that's an act, though. An action. Sorry, not an act, an action.
Because I've only seen sound and frequency, come up with all of these different shapes and combinations we see on a cymatic plate. I've never seen anything do that except sound. Sound, frequency, vibration. You can get any shape you can think of. You can get levitation. You could get force. You could get, stasis. It seems like if there was some sort of organizational frequency for the world, maybe it would be frequency, sound, and electromagnetism, whatever.
You guys want to hear one of my crazy theories? That sometime in the mid to late 1800s, they set up a bunch of towers, and maybe this is what the churches were for before, to blast like radio frequency or some frequency into some kind out into the world to make us forget and lose some of the abilities that we had naturally before. And that's why we had to start developing mass communications and sending letters and stuff, because we could do some crazy shit with our minds before they blocked it.
I believe that could be true. Like, maybe we could have, some level of telekinesis, like you say, if the environment was different. Maybe if it wasn't 5G to death or, petrochemical, what do you call it? Sprayed, by aerosols and chemtrails to death. Maybe if we had a different electrical environment, maybe some of these things could come out again.
Think about this, too, Lemon Boy. Did you just theorize the fallen state of man?
Pretty much. Now think about this. So we're talking about church towers, and there's going to be some bells up there, right? That they might ring or whatever. But
Brandon Toy out here trying to summon Piche.
Think of the congregation at church. What are we designed? What are we instructed to do? Well, sing a hymn, right? A hymn. And if, just like what Brandon was on, I mean, I don't know this, but think about it. If one lady can put her voice out to a wine glass and break it just due to that vibration. Think of all the people singing. It could make that bell ring too. Now that doesn't happen. I've never seen evidence of that, but that's just what you brought to my mind, Brandon, when you're talking about that frequency and vibration has been overtaken by them just ringing the bells instead of us putting out that energy, you know?
Yeah, well, I think, think about it. You got these cell phones, radio, they're sending all these vibrations through the air. And to me, like, a cell phone is almost like freaking magic. Like, I push buttons on it and instantly it's somewhere else. All right, you can tell me the science behind it all day long. I still find it fascinating that shit all works just perfectly and everybody gets the messages that you send out. Well, if we're created in this environment to live in this environment, why weren't we, gifted with some kind of access to this? I mean, we are electrical beings, right?
Isn't there a word for that? And I'm not anywhere scientist on the telepathy or something where Lemon Bird could probably explain it better.
Telekinesis, that's moving objects. Telepathy is speaking between minds. But maybe if the environment was different, we could go, super sci-fi woo with this. Maybe people grew taller. Maybe you had bigger lizards that were breathing fire or something. Or maybe these, frequencies that, you never know. Maybe it was like a Disney flick or something like that. And it was actually like that or something.
Maybe, Lemon.
Hey,
maybe.
That's why they keep showing it, right? Exactly.
Who knows? Who knows what the hell happened? But anyway, Gordzilla sent another one. This is a follow on to the previous one. Yeah, I like Lemon Bird too, but you got to admit, he could talk the balls off a rhinoceros. That's true, Lemon. I'm sure that's not the first time you've heard something like that. Thanks, Gordzilla. $5, Canadian CA, I think.
It's funny. You remember Venkman in Ghostbusters was doing the telepathy experiment?
Was that Data? You're really low for some reason.
He was talking about Blankman or Bankman in the Ghostbusters movie doing the telepathy experiment.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, he was the university professor, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
And Fiona Barnett said that if your mind vibrates in resonance with the surroundings, you can, do different, telekinetic psycho effects with your mind in her book, Eyes Wide Open.
Did you guys see there's a guy there. He's it's on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically he's a hoax, he proves things wrong. I can't remember them to do it.
You're still really low, Data. I turned you up all the way and it's still not loud enough.
Once he straightens out his thing, can I say something, Brandon?
Of course, yeah.
I posted something for you in the, where did I put it? In general. And you were talking about how fascinating it is for you, the transmission with the phone and that. Wait until you see the cables that is used. You're going to blow your mind. Watch the thing I posted.
And on top of that, like Lemon Bird was saying, our internal frequencies, our internal vibrations, we humans, I guess, commonly express that vibration through voice, through sound. And so getting right back to right the hand is saying that all these vibrations we're putting out there, acceleration, that's a vibration. I just put it out there. Maybe that's a corrupted vibration. Right, but we all understand it because possibly due to the fall of man, we have all come to understand these limited and lower level vibrations as reality. Right?
You guys have gone out and tested these claims yourself: telekinesis, telepathy. What do you call it? The EM. What's that other one? EM something. Or
EMP, extra sensory perception, ESP, something like that.
ESP, not EMP, but ESP. Have you actually gone and tested these things yourself?
No.
Maybe you guys should, because then you wouldn't be talking about it. That's why I brought up the Ghostbusters and Bankman. Paranormal. Have you guys tested the paranormal?
The spoon is not real.
The amazing Ranty.
The point is I've gone and tested this shit out, and there's none of it. No telepathy.
I can barely hear you, bro.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
He's saying he's tested this, no telepathy, none of that stuff as far as he's tested it.
I can't find any practical demonstration or all the research, all that stuff, and it's paranormal. I can't find any evidence of it. So, does anybody have any evidence here today?
Evidence? No, just theory, possibilities based off of occult testimony.
So it leads right back to this book. It's called The Great Psychic that I read. It's all about thoughts about fuck. I got to go back and grab this book. But he talks about the exact same thing we're talking about, but applying tangible realness to it, right? And the way you do it is more people believe in it. They give it more validity if more people experience it, right? I'm the Venkman. I'm the guy testing the shit against the guy throwing the fucking flashcards. This is poppycock.
Well, on the other side, I guess half woo, half real. Maybe you can move objects like that, but it's not your mind. It's some demon from hell or, some angel sent by God to move it for you. I guess that would be not, you doing it with your own wooey telepathy, but at best with an unseen agent from an unseen realm.
Or just a trick.
Well, yeah, there's been lots of that too. Yeah, the tricks. Sure.
Well, it would come back to what first demonstratable and real. Okay, not been demonstrated, but it would come back to what you believe reality is. If you believe reality is this empirical or nothing supernatural because of the mechanisms, then you can't believe in that. But if you believe
why make an assumption, period, and just test the claims?
I have a provable, repeatable test. So when Rumpus comes on this show, we've never seen his face. I've never seen anything physical about this guy. All I do is hear a vibration, and I immediately have emotion just through vibration.
Yeah, that's funny right there.
Are you saying you get the feels when you hear Rumpus's voice? I think that's what he said, right?
Am I the only one? Am I the only one?
Something
right,
supernatural. Something otherworldly.
And I would like to stress the word emotion. Shout out right to him.
All right. Well,
but action at a distance on some level, with sound is possible. So it's not too much of a jump to say action at a distance with other means could potentially be available.
Yeah, who knows? But I mean, if we're going to believe that gravity works at the speed of light over these ridiculous distances, how unreasonable is it to wonder what else is going on in the universe, especially when we hear many stories and some of us have even had personal firsthand experiences? I mean, think about what we're talking about. The mass attracting mass that is relied upon for the globe model is based on a measurement, as you can see on my screen here, of a trillion times weaker force than the electromagnetic force responsible for affixing souvenir magnets to refrigerator. That's what Cavendish measured, and that's one of the underpinnings of the heliocentric model that they use as the glue to hold the entire everything together. So you want to get into ridiculous land? This seems like ridiculous land to me. Or woo.
This is definitely La La Land.
Not to mention it's expanding at the same time, right? I mean, so nothing's being held together. It's actually, oh God, Rumpus double speak here. Shit falls up, it's actually falling down. Shit's expanding, but it's being held together. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys know who I'm talking about? He's an old dude now. White glasses. I think he's married to a Filipino dude, but he went around basically exposing these guys who can claim they had telekinesis powers, telepathy, and telekinesis. And so he went around.
I know who you're talking about.
His name? Yeah, he's a fantastic guy.
He's a magician guy.
No.
No, I think he has a name like that though, like the Fantastic something or something.
No. He's just basically a debunker. There's a series on Netflix. I watched it a while back. I have to go back and look at his name. I'm trying to search it now so I can tell you guys. But basically, he would expose all these people who claim they have telekinesis powers and all this stuff, and and we go on talk shows and debunk them live, right? But that was
Ranty.
his gag. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he just died.
Wasn't
7
that the
days ago.
amazing Randy I was talking about before?
Yeah,
this old guy.
Yeah,
white beard.
Yep, that's him.
I think that's
yes,
him.
exactly the guy you're talking about, James Randy. He's actually a lovable character to a certain degree because of his approach on testing claims. At least I walked away liking the character from watching Netflix. But I thought, what a fantastic position to be in, and what a fantastic career to make money out of.
Yep. Oh yeah, and he died at 92. He was a magician though, and an escape artist.
He was, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He had a Houdini experiment, which he changed his life. That's right. Yeah, he almost drowned on live television. Yeah, he almost drowned on live television doing the Houdini experiments. Yeah.
A likable guy.
I think I've seen the exact show that you're talking about too, that Netflix series. And yeah, he certainly is an interesting guy for sure.
Have you ever seen The Great Regurgitator?
No.
Tell us more.
Is that a new show?
Oh, bro. No. It's this dude. He used to do these like amazing effing tricks back in the day. So he would swallow sugar, right? Like put dry sugar in his mouth, okay? Then he would drink water. Then he would cough up dry sugar. He would swallow a key, a lock, and a ring, right? Separately. Then he would cough up the lock around the key with, or the lock around the ring with the key in it. He could swallow a billiard ball. Bro, it was amazing. Like, he just did amazing things. It was pretty crazy. It wasn't even magic. It was just, some of it might have been. I don't know. But yeah, he would swallow goldfish and then bring up which one he wanted. He would, like, swallow 3 and then bring up a different colored one. It was cool.
I thought you were about to make a joke. You're serious. There's a guy named the Great Regurgitator. Let me look this up.
Yeah, it's a Swedish guy.
Okay. Kind of an interesting name to choose if you're going to be a magician.
Not 100% if that's his name. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right. The Great Regurgitator. Let me see if I can show this here. Yeah, 34 subscribers. I'll just turn the sound off, but yeah, I found him.
Yeah, no, cool. Interesting just what the body's capable of. Check that out. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah,
Have you guys ever befriended witches?
Like Wiccans?
Yeah, basically. Well, there's different, I guess, groups, but yeah, Wiccan essentially.
No.
I've been around a couple.
Yeah, so this is how I got into testing the supernatural, the ideas, participating in these groups, documenting it. Back in the day, writing shit down was different than nowadays. But hanging out with them is almost it's almost it's a feeling, right? So it's like you have to feel it. You have to get into the feeling of it to experience what they experience, right? So that's what I noticed. It's all this hyped up feeling, the frequency, feel it. And meanwhile, if you're just objectively watching it, just looks like a bunch of idiots ranting and chanting and cutting their hands and putting blood and shit and mixing it up in a bowl, saying all kinds of chants. Just ridiculousness, man.
If you want to get into the heavy duty stuff, you need to offer blood, a human sacrifice and stuff like that. But what was his name? Henry Dollins or something. This dude from the Prophecy Club was talking about how the spells were real and how he'd do rituals and how he became a satanic high priest and they'd summon demons and stuff like that. So
this is what they claim to do if they sacrifice a rabbit or a chicken or a fucking cat.
I took a picture. I didn't summon any demons. I guess it's not too popular. Maybe in another hour it might be.
You took a picture? What? Say that again. I'm just talking about actual information or real information. You can see, like you hear them talk about seeing apparitions of orbs. People talking about possession. Like I supposedly in Italy right now, I think exorcisms is on the rise and possession's on the rise. You guys looked into that? Like it's turning into a problem apparently.
Where?
In Italy. And then in Israel right now, there's a phenomenon going on. This has been going on for a while. These are just past research, so bear with me. I'm probably incorrect on the locations, but in Rome, Italy, there's a rise in exorcisms, rise in possessions or possessed possessions, yeah. And then in Israel, there's a Jesus phenomenon that's happening where people. Is it Israel? One of the two things. People have a Messiah complex, and then there's a rise of these disturbances in we'll call it a mental condition. I just don't know if you guys paid attention to any of that stuff.
Like Jews for Christ is the mental condition.
No,
Catholic,
I'm talking about
Mormon, other.
No, the Messiah condition. There's another condition that where they're in
like I am God or something like that, kind of like the New Agey I am God sort of condition, as opposed to recognizing Jesus as Messiah, like that.
No. I'm talking about people. That's just the rhetoric when it comes to Jesus, Messiah. The rhetoric around that, nothing new. Just typically originated with Catholicism, let's say. The concept of Christ and demons and spirits and all that stuff. It's just rooted in that sort of avenue of thought. Just wanted to know if you guys ever heard any of that stuff where there's the Messiah complex, plus there's where people are seeing the Virgin Mary. You know, I haven't gone to these locations and interviewed people myself, but I've read the stories and then I've seen the claims in the newspaper. So I haven't actually gone to Italy or Israel to test these claims. But
We've had a few kind of people think they're Jesus on flat Earth already. Who do you think Lord Stephen Christ thinks he is?
Get the fuck out of here.
No joke. He's a concaver, but he thinks he's the Christ.
Oh, is that fucking
threatened two presidents? Went to jail for it once. Can still travel abroad. Pretty amazing.
A concaver, though. Let's make sure that's straight. He's a concaver.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Aaron from Australia. Just dropping my daughter off at school, so apologies if it's a bad line. I just wanted to say two things. That regurgitator guy, I forget his stage name, but he's been around for at least 30 years, and he's American, but he kept coming out to Australia. I think he might have had a girlfriend here or something, but he was always playing in Australia, and he was not famous enough to be doing big venues, so he'd just do like pubs and kind of smaller things, and then our TV circuit. But he was totally legit. Like, there's no way that was sleight of hand or anything. He would do some crazy stuff, as whoever said, with the ring and the lock and the key, unless he put it in his belly beforehand, and then but he still had to swallow the other stuff and the sugar, and he would swallow a bunch of razor blades and then put them on a piece of string in his belly, and swallow goldfish and keep him in there for like 5 minutes and then regurgitate him out. I saw him a few times. He was amazing. Oh, that's his name. Oh, no, it wasn't that. And the second thing I wanted to say was last night at 11 o'clock my time, I listened to Bob Dole versus Aaron, and it was absolutely the funniest YouTube stuff I've ever heard in my life. It was hilarious. I had to get up out of bed and listen to it somewhere else because I was laughing so hard.
It was two
So you
nights
guys
ago.
were
Yeah,
awesome.
that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2 nights ago. That was pretty hilarious. I just released it this morning, our time. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that, Aaron. I thought that was pretty damn funny too.
Bob,
There's
come on.
There's film on YouTube. It's a guy who, a few years back, I guess a few decades back, he had this show where people would put swords straight through his body. It has X-rays of him too, and he said it was the demons demon spirits protecting him and stuff. And he eventually died from one of his so-called insertions in shows when I guess he said the demons stopped protecting him. but
I think
that's another
there's.
story.
I think.
Which conversation
I
were you
think
guys
there's
talking
Jimbo.
about?
I think Jimbo. There's ways where they can manipulate their internal organs to miss the blade. It still obviously has to go through a fair bit of skin, but
Yeah, I think you're right.
There is ways where they can just carefully put it in an area where it's not going to go through a vital organ.
It's like
But,
David Blaine when he gouges himself. Some of these tendons and fibrous material would move away, like almost like programmed to, to protect themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
sure
saying?
I'm sure they rehearse it to the point where they rehearse their wounds and whatever, so that it's just, they rehearse it, right?
True.
So they rehearse
If
it
you,
before they do it.
Another parlor trick, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
There's lots of part of your body where there's not nerve endings, and that's for a reason. Like, there's if everyone here can hear me, grab your elbow and grab that skin on your elbow as hard as you can and twist it as hard as you physically can. You won't feel any pain at all because your elbow is used to getting knocked, and whether it's genetic design or God or evolution, you don't want to put lots of nerve endings in an area where it gets a lot of wear and tear and gets knocked a lot. So there's certain parts in your body where you can stick a skewer or you can stick a needle, and with minimal discomfort because it doesn't have lots of nerve endings. So I'm sure they take advantage of that, which has obviously been explored and developed over thousands of years. I think magicians have been around for at least a couple of thousand years, right? Maybe 3,000 or 4,000 years.
And acupuncture, which is already sticking things in you.
Yeah, well, acupuncture is
Same
a whole
idea,
different ballgame.
basically. I know,
Yeah,
but it maps out nerves, right? You want to avoid them. You're putting something
I
bigger.
think it opens the chi or closes the chi. So, I mean, I'm as a Western medicine professional and big advocate, I still believe in Eastern medicine. I still certainly believe that there's a definite place for acupuncture in our current healthcare system. And a lot of
I really do agree. Some
I've cured my-
acupuncture masters are just incredible.
Do you guys know what a gouter is? You know what a gouter is?
Yeah, I know what a gouter is. Yeah.
So I had a gouter in my wrist, and there was nothing I could do. The doctor told me, he says, just nothing you can do. So I said, that's bullshit. I went to an acupuncturist with the actual needles, there's a difference between acupressure and acupuncture, guys. So I went to the acupuncturist.
Acupressure?
No, I didn't have acupressure to acupuncture with the actual needles, right? So they hooked me up to a device. It was the most, I've never experienced this kind of pleasure in my life, when it came to joints and shit like that. They put all these needles into my wrist and then hooked it up to an some device. I can't remember what it was, some type of electrical device. But within, I think, a month of doing acupuncture for, was it a month, maybe 2 months, doing it, the goiter went away and disappeared. It's never come back since. And no other doctor could tell me how to get rid of it. So I was playing guitar a lot. And so I had this big goiter in the middle of my wrist. I was like, oh, fuck, what's going to do to my guitar playing, right? So it freaked me out. And so I tried it, and it was fucking amazing.
Is this FED?
Yeah.
Is that FED? I think you might have. I'll just check. The goiter is normally in your throat. So goiter is like an enlarged thyroid gland in your throat. So there might have been a different word. There might have been a different. You might have got the words mixed up, but you can certainly get like lots of cysts and polyps and stuff in your wrist because there's a whole bunch of little bones there, and it doesn't take too much for one of them to get inflamed. But what would have happened is you got the needles, and then you got the electricity, which is just very low voltage. And what that does is increases stimulation in that area, increases blood flow. And the more blood
so I got
flow
it wrong. It's called the ganglion. It's called the ganglion. I don't know why.
That's correct.
Ganglion. Yeah.
It's a ganglion. Sorry, not a gouter, but a ganglion. So it's just basically. Have you
guys ever seen someone get smacked with a Bible on the ganglion? Have you heard of that? Jimbo, you would have heard of that. Hello?
No, I actually haven't heard it, no.
So a ganglion, again, is a cyst. So what they do is, it's an old, kind of like an urban myth or a old wives' tale.
No, that's what they actually tried. I remember that now. They tried to fucking to pop it. I remember that.
Yeah. Hit it with a Bible and blow it up. Yeah.
I just never heard the Bible thing whacking it, but I actually tried to do the same thing. What I would do is I would sit there and fucking pound it, right?
Yeah.
So we to get rid of it, nothing would happen except for the it was really unique too, because once he put the machine up, it got really fucking hot.
Yeah.
And it felt like I don't know how to explain. It was very pleasurable, like very, very fucking phenomenal. And then it just went away, it just disappeared. I think it was like literally the next day. But I mean, it took a couple of weeks of treatments, right? But yeah.
Yeah, what it just all the activity there, all the attention, and when I say all the attention, just concentrating on a spot can make a difference certainly with blood flow and whatever else they're doing. Hey, I'm just going to go, but I mean, this is from a Western medicine kind of guy. I even believe in prayer, and I don't believe that God is healing you, but I believe when a group of people or even an individual put their precious time aside to pray for somebody else, then something in the universe, something about that makes a difference to that person that they're praying for. I think it makes a difference to both people, but the selfless act of praying can certainly, in my experience, make a difference to someone. And I don't believe in miracles.
Oh, he just dropped.
Brandon, what conversation were you guys talking about?
Speaking of miracles,
so funny.
Aaron, you still there? I'll let you finish your sentence and I'll answer your question, Bob. Oh, looks like
yeah, I'm here. Or the other Aaron.
Other Aaron, yeah. All right, just speak up when you can. We can't hear you at all, Aaron. So we're talking about the conversation that's in the after show on my channel. From what was it? The 26th, I think it actually was. So day before yesterday. And it was wild. It started off with, I think, Right the Hand and somebody else just like, remember you were getting interrupted, Right the Hand? Well, anyway, he was getting interrupted. And then after the first hour, somehow it turned into you know, Bob and Aaron. And Aaron, I think you were making threats to Bob, if I remember correctly.
Well, it started off like this, because when Montreal left, right, and I didn't catch that first hour between Montreal, Bob, and Right the Hand. You know, I just kind of chimed in right when Montreal's left, like a minute before he left, and I heard Bob go, laugh at Montreal or his argument or something. So I just got on Bob's case. It was a good time for it, right? It was just like, Bob, you laughed at him. Why'd you do that, right? And so further on down the line, there might have been some threats. I'm gonna have to go back and listen, actually.
Yeah, to find out what you said.
Yeah, well, just to remember what I said. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was pretty. Hey, where's your brother been, Bob? Where's little Bob?
He haven't really been spending much time with them at all. I think the only reason he had gotten on here to begin with was we were playing this game called Factorio, and it's not really a game where we need to communicate necessarily on the game itself. We can just run around and build the factory ourselves, and we don't necessarily have to be super strategic or anything. But I think he wanted to be in voice chat with me, but I was continuing to like get on the show and stuff like that, and I let him know like I'm already in like a chat or whatever, and I think that's why he joined to begin with. I don't think he has any interest necessarily in discussing the topic or getting into it or anything. And we haven't been playing any games together recently, so.
Oh, okay. He was pretty funny, man. I was just wondering. I do have a shout out for Ranty, Blue Ranty. He did do a Streamlabs. It looks like it's not working. I tested it. The test went through fine multiple times. You saw it during the show, but it's not working for an actual donation. So I have to try to fix it and figure out what the heck is going on. But he did say, bring back Ranty. Brandon sucks. Large smiley face. So for $5. So I'll be adding that to the filters, so that automatically gets filtered out. Maybe it already did. I don't know. Maybe that's why I didn't get read. Anyway, thanks, Ranty. Appreciate it. Okay. Well, we've been all over the place tonight. Is there anything anybody wants? Oh, Jimbo, you there? Oh, Jimbo, what channel did you put your picture in? I couldn't find it. That's why. Anyway, is there any topic anybody wants to bring up? No.
I want to know why Bob laughed at SE.
Wow.
Yeah, what was so funny about that? So funny between Aaron
Yeah,
and Bob.
I
Give me
explained
the
to
highlight.
Aaron multiple times the other night that I did not laugh at SE. I laughed at SE's arguments, and I explained it today here too. That I laughed at SE's arguments, and I have no problem laughing
You had a
at
couple
arguments.
days
His
to think
argument
about
was
your argument.
ridiculous.
I get it.
It was absurd.
Why would you say SE is absurd, right? His argument is himself, right?
No.
No, it's not. Okay, so you know
Wow.
SE, you know every intricacy of SE, and you know that his argument did not come from himself.
I think that
Is
people
that what
can
you
get an
think?
idea of what I was dealing with the other night.
You're
Whenever
kind
I
of
was
starting to
having
sound
the
like Jimbo
conversation with
right
you.
now, Bob. Come on. Like you know everything about everybody and what
Can you
should
just
be
give me
said
some
and shouldn't be
highlights?
said.
Can you give me some highlights there, just in case I missed it?
Just go back and listen.
There's
It's
no
funny.
highlights. Like he was upset because he was claiming that I laughed at SE, and I didn't. I laughed at SE's argument.
I wasn't upset. I was just concerned. I was concerned
Why
for
were you
you.
concerned if somebody's laughing at SE? That's already funny.
Well, because why should you laugh at somebody else's argument? Laugh if you
Because
can't
it can be
refute
a funny
it.
argument.
If you can't refute, okay. So you
be a
think
funny
this whole
argument,
FE?
right?
You think the whole FE is a funny argument?
If you look at the bigger picture, maybe not. But if you look at the small scale and what everybody has to do, it's a fucking comedy, dude. Yep.
For
100%.
example, 1.22 over the distance squared times the viewer height. Right? It's kind of funny.
Yeah. What about it?
It's kind of funny.
Is it kind of funny?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you find funny about that, Aaron?
I don't know. I'm just.
This
you know
is
what
a
I mean.
test donation for $62.
No, we don't. Please tell us.
I'm not sure that anybody knows what you mean.
Well, because
I don't know.
okay,
I'm
first
not
of all,
convinced that you know what you
that's
mean.
your only argument. First of all, that's your only.
Are you even attempting to mean anything?
First of all, FED, that's your only argument. Okay, that you're
What's
like
my only argument?
1.22 times the root squared over the
Not my only
your
argument,
height.
dude.
Okay,
Nope,
the shape
that's
of the
not my only
eye,
argument.
and all this shit. Yes, it is. What's your other argument?
There's many. Pick a subject.
Curvature.
I've done a test on my channel that shows you the mathematics. I've broken it down to 1/100,000 scale. I've applied
Give me
basic
a description
distance.
of your.
I've given you. Listen.
Give me a
I've given you-
description
don't
of your
interrupt.
channel. Is not your argument.
Don't
Give me
interrupt.
your
No,
argument.
but I have another argument which is based on Euclidean versus spherical geometry, and it's calculating the drop
It's
over a
not
distance.
quite your argument though. It's just shit.
So
you kind of
what I've
looked up.
done,
You know
what
what I
I've
mean?
what I've done is I've
You just
actually put
repeating
a
shit now, are you?
What I've done is I put a model together where I've taken real objects, calculated the distance,
Pretty sure
calculated
all
the
them
heights of them.
models were put together before you put together
Awesome,
your
buddy.
model.
But you asked me if I had another argument, and I just clarified what my other argument is, which I've demonstrated on my channel. That's repeatable, testable,
So you're just
demonstratable.
directing me. You're directing me to somebody else's argument in the past, right?
So I took an observation from a photograph. I modeled it down to 1/100,000
From
scale.
a photograph, okay.
Then I've also done it to Blender. So I've used Blender plus modeling plus the mathematics of a flat plane, which is just distance and elevation versus distance with drop. So if you ask for another argument, I have another one. I have another one on top of the.
Are you an expert in any one of these fields? Let's say
Again,
photography.
You asked me
sites,
the
lights,
1.22. If it was my only argument, I
because
brought
if
up
you're
a
not an
second
expert
one.
in it, then
Now-
your argument's kind of funny, right? Because Walter Bislin is an expert, right? Supposedly.
So we have astrophysicists telling us that footballs can leave the rotation of the Earth. What's your point?
Sure, that was funny.
My 1.22 is what will teach everybody about the optics of the Earth. What are you doing to teach people about the optics
of the Earth? So the Earth is an eyeball?
The diffraction limit of the human eye, the diffraction of light around edges, around cylinders, around spheres.
Well
Whatever
studied
the case
way
may
before
be.
you created your model, FED. Right?
That's not
Would you
the. Is
agree
that
with
the argument now? Is that the argument now?
I said, would you agree?
What's the?
And if you
We
say,
switching?
you can say yes or no.
Are you fucking trying to run across the tennis court left and
Why?
right? Can't
Why are
pick a
you
side?
swearing at me? Why are you swearing at me? Why?
Fuck.
Last resort.
No, dude. The last resort is trying to when somebody's asking you what was funny about the argument, then you turn it on somebody else. Well, the 1.22 times the square root of the observer. That's the only argument you have, and then I prove you wrong. And then now, what are you going to do? Well, are you an expert in those areas? Are you an expert? Period, Aaron. Do you have any expert qualities at all?
What about folks
Do you
that wear
have any
glasses? Where does
expert
your
qualities at all?
1.22 come in at?
Do you have any expert qualifications at all? I do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any expert qualifications?
Sure.
I can tell you what mine is. Mine is in cinematography. I have expert qualifications and a professional experience
So
as a
you
cinematographer.
know how to use Photoshop and take a photo.
No, I know how to use cameras and light a scene. That's what
Yeah.
cinematography is. It's not Photoshop, dude.
Okay. So there's no manipulation of any video or photo you take?
Do you know what a cinematographer does?
I'm not too worried about it, dude. So you're a filmmaker. I don't give a fuck.
Do you know what a cinematographer is? You asked me if I have a profession. The reason why I use
you asked me if I had a profession.
So if I work with
and you
cameras,
proceeded to tell me about your profession, which I never asked about. Okay.
Yeah. You asked me if I had any professional
I
qualifications.
said, "Are you an
That's
expert?"
what you asked me.
In distance.
I'm an expert in lighting scenes. I'm an expert in using cameras.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're an
Flat Earth
expert in
data
light.
is here, like Globers used to say. I'm here to study you like your little bugs under a lab and under a
Right, Jim?
microscope, and gonna write a book and
So FED
collect
is an
data
expert
for
in
that.
light.
So
You're an
I just
expert
wanted
in
to
light.
say, while I have 1 second there, I re-upped the link and the photo to every one of those channels in the back there, whatever. Show videos only, revamped improvement, junk convo. It's in every one of them.
I don't
know
see
where
it,
else
Jimbo.
to put it.
I don't see it, man. Can you
I don't
email
know
it to me?
why. How do I give me any email address?
I'm just fucking with
I'll
you,
email
Jimbo.
it.
I saw it. All right, hold on. Sorry. All right, I'm sharing it now, Jimbo. I'd love to hear about this picture. Oh, is he still? Oh, that bastard. He got the last
Damn
laugh.
it.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to assume what's going on in this photograph. Is there anybody who wants to take a shot at interpreting it?
Not really. How about FED? He should know about that. That's cinematography, right?
What are we looking at?
Good question. I think that there's a nightclub over here, and it's got one of those lights that goes around like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that has to do with the shape of the Earth, so I guess we'll have to figure it out some other time. Well, thanks, Jimbo.
It's 2 sperms fighting over the egg.
What's up, Tony?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Can you hear me? I got brand new iPods just for this. No.
Yeah, just turn your volume down a little bit. It's a bit tinny, but it's not too bad.
All right, we need to go for brass, right? Not tin.
Yeah, brass is better. It's got a deeper something.
Yes, it does. All right, let me see what's up. Give me a second.
Okay.
So let me get back to my point that FED's only argument has to do with optics or cinematography. I mean, that's it. That's all you got.
I have heard him make other arguments. I'm gonna have to white knight for flat Earth data here.
Go ahead, ride in on your pony. What's you got?
Well, I'm trying to think of them. You guys could talk about it for a minute, and I'll let me just.
I had a phone call to take, so I dropped off. I was gonna help you with the picture a bit.
Yeah. Okay, we already figured out what's going on, Jimbo. This is the nightclub over here
and stuff. Yeah, the Peeler Bar. Yeah, and that's where I got my camera tuned, usually on a video set there. But basically, what this is, it's from my house. 12 miles away, there's the tower. You can see the 2 red warning lights above there, and a green one below. Well, the green one, follow that beam. That's one of my lasers, my $10 lasers, and that's a target 12 miles away.
This is a $10 laser you did this with?
It's a $10 laser, and it can go twice that.
How far away is that again? Sorry.
This is 12.3 miles to that target.
What?
Absolutely. And across the top,
with no
How is that possible, dude? You would have it spread out, man, with a small little.
No, the beam doesn't diverge as much. Part of the divergence is that layer of water close to this, or that vapor. I keep going back to this vapor pressure shit and how it affects the gradient as you go up and stuff. The barometric pressure in a atmospheric barometer that tells you it's going to rain or not is affected by the water pressure, that vapor in the air, and nothing else. So anyway, there's there's no big changes in the vapor pressure where I am up at elevation over water and stuff. There can be heat fog and stuff, and heat haze, all kinds of stuff I'm well aware of, and that will affect the thing a bit.
Why is
Sometimes
the beam diverging towards the top of the picture if it's coming from your house, right? You're at your
what
house.
do you mean?
Well, it looks like the beam's getting wider towards
Oh
the top
yeah,
of the
well,
picture.
I mean, it's traveling 12 miles. It's going to open up a little bit, wouldn't you think?
No. Okay, who's
Its
taking this
focus
picture?
point
Let
can
me just get
only.
back.
That's
Let me
me
just get
taking
back.
me, moi.
Okay, who's
Me,
shooting the laser?
moi.
Okay.
The laser's mounted,
We're looking from
and
Jimbo's
I can adjust it.
perspective, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm looking right at it. Out. The laser's above my shoulder, and I'm looking straight out. No zooming in or nothing to catch. Well, I accidentally caught up at the top. This is a high definition photo. It's that so-called string of satellites that go by now.
What?
Up
There's
at the
like
top,
what?
you'll see a
Oh, that's
string of
Starlink?
lights. Those are supposed to be the Starlink. I caught them by accident. I didn't even notice till the next day.
Why does the
But
beam get a little darker when it crosses that cloud right at the top there?
more contrast, maybe.
Yeah, up a little bit. Yeah. See that darkness there in the beam there?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why
It's
does
funny
that happen
because
if you're not shooting through the clouds?
well, I don't know. I have a light. It's a searchlight, handheld searchlight that I can illuminate that same target with. I can see the beam with my eyes, absolutely no problem. The
What do you
camera
mean? You
can't
can
see
see
it.
it on the photo. Of course, you can see with your eye. Apparently.
Well, that green beam, yes, but my flashlight, it's a torch. I can light up a building a mile away.
No, we've heard
People,
about it.
yeah. Well, that one can shine on that same target over there and light it up.
So it's
I
like a
see the beam.
laser
My eye
flashlight.
follows the
So it's a
beam. Yeah,
white
yeah.
light?
It's a searchlight. It's basically a searchlight.
Well, what I find interesting is there not only is there no beam divergence. Let's say the beam was totally tight the whole way because there's no water vapor whatsoever. There's no changes due to perspective in the beam of the light either. It's almost as thick.
It's straight
down
as
here
an arrow. It might be like 3 feet across at the far end now, maybe 6 feet, but less than 6 feet.
Yeah.
It is diverged.
Okay.
It's not going to hold as tight as it is on the wall 20 feet from you.
Still pretty impressive.
FED would be the expert
But
on
it's
this
still
one.
intended to focus way far away from you. This isn't an in-close targeting.
Oh, you put a
It
beam focuser on it?
It
How
has.
big is
You
your
can.
how big is your culminator on the end of that laser?
There's no culminator. You can only move the thing forward, the lens forward a little bit and a little back, and it's
So
really not
that's
enough.
the culminator. That's the
It's
culminator, right?
yeah, but it's almost preset, But how you get them? If you're near the water, I've done lots of water shots, and anyway, I posted
So
them and they get ignored. I don't care.
You were the
But
green dot, and somebody's taking the photograph of you.
pardon me.
You were the
No.
green dot, and somebody's taking the photograph of you.
No, the green dot is a reflective satellite dish, radio dish on the tower 12 miles away. That's a dish I'm lighting up. Normally, there's no green on the tower. It's not a race car tower, for dragging. Those red lights are for planes to keep them from colliding with the tower.
Where's the beam coming back then if it's a reflective, especially with the dish, which
Well,
should narrow
the dish.
the beam back to you, right?
The dish might be a parabolic dish, and it might just be a metal surface of some kind on a building reflecting. I don't know. I'm sure.
I don't see a
Well,
building.
I figure it's one of the very lower dishes, one of two that I've seen close up in the photos. But I don't know which. At night, I can't tell.
Apparently, it's not a reflector.
best thing you can do is take a video with this, because I don't believe that that green dot doesn't look like it's a real effect there, buddy. It looks like this is added in.
Oh, yeah,
So
you're okay. I can see, everyone,
So
everything looks
take
like
a video.
CGI, but
No, I'll just run it. I'll run it. Into
no, and I'm not
forensics.
saying I'm
I'll
submitting
run it
this
into
as proof that
forensics, and I'll see if
green
it's
dot is
pixelated
real.
either.
For heaven's sake, who's asking this?
Yeah.
For
That was
real?
flat Earth data.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, data. Get a $10 thing. Find yourself a tower, please. Do you have $10?
Sure.
20 for 2. I'll put where I get them from. They're still the same price. I bought 10 of them, 10 sets of 2 when I ordered up, and I gave a bunch away.
Now, Bob, see,
Maybe
this is
maybe
worth
you give a
laughing at,
few
Bob.
away, but
This is worth laughing at, Bob.
yeah, if you want, grab yourself one. I'll put the address on eBay, or not eBay, but
All right, have them give
Amazon,
it
where I
away.
got them. Buy some up. They're $10. Don't be cheap.
Hey, Jimbo, we got a question from the chat. Can you is the beam a band laser as opposed to a dot?
Well, I'll show you the laser. I'll get the Amazon link and show you the ones I buy. They're 50 mile, $10 freaking 5 milliwatt, very focused lasers that work super great. I've only had one break because I dropped it too many times.
What's that, Tony?
You know,
Yeah, I had a blue one, and they actually work. Like, it's amazing. But they only last, well, mine only lasted for like maybe 5 minutes, and it just sucked the juice right out of the battery.
well, these ones have the 10 whatever H60 batteries there. There's it's like 2,000 milliwatts an hour, 6,000 milliwatts an hour, or milliamps an hour. They can really pump out juice a long time. I get days and
Yours
days
is
of
5
use out of
milliwatts with
each
no
battery.
culminator, and you're saying you went 12 miles, and we got a reflection off some dish.
I'll post the thing, and someone can go buy some. But I'll post
Yeah, I
the
can
link
see
to
it happening.
I'll buy
and
one.
then you go have your fun. I'm not going to try to convince
No,
you
no,
it's
no.
not CGI or something.
Jimbo, don't worry about that. He's fucking with you. You know how Aaron is. Let me ask you a question. No offense, Aaron. What does this what does this show you? How do you interpret this observation? Or do you?
Well, when people are near the water and shining their laser across from a few feet across to another bank or shore, it can deflect upward massively, depending on the air around that bank and around the beach where the light is arriving. Because water in the air can magnify light, deflect it, refract it a bit, diffuse it, can do a lot of things to light.
Okay.
Up there, it's not like being at the beach at the coast where there's a lot of vapor coming off the water, and it's, the amount of water at the lower surface of the air is higher than as it rises up a little more, it thins out a bit, right? You'll have a higher humidity right at the beach than if you go up a hill a couple 100 feet.
Yeah.
There's a
Are you
big difference
shooting
in humidity.
Are you shooting at sunrise or sunset? It might
The
make a difference.
sunset. Yeah, this is always sunset. I'm up that early, but it's not good for shooting in the early morning from here to that direction. Too much glare.
Did the beam look like it was curving, or did it look straight?
No, oh hell no. I got hundreds of pictures. These beams don't curve. Even at the lake, it would really take a pretty dramatic day here weather-wise for that beam to curve 6 miles or 14
Can you show
miles.
us a couple more? I mean, this one's great.
No,
I
I'm
like the-
tired. My mind is fucked because I've been trying to show shit and have been for like 6 years now. And
Well, this-
tonight, 2 hours to get
This one
one
looks
picture
great,
shown
Jimbo.
for. I
It looks
know, and I
great.
have other great looking ones. What can I say?
Yeah, but you always keep your best
So-
material for the end, Jimbo. I was trying to build up to
Well,
it.
I've been trying and trying and trying. How much more can I try? I burn myself out trying. It's like banging your head against the goddamn wall.
Yeah, don't burn yourself
And then,
out, man.
I show one picture, and I don't know if it's a joke or not, but it's CGI. It looks CGI. I understand that. I touch a plant today. It's a real plant, but it feels like rubber and synthetic to me. Almost everything feels rubbery and synthetic to me.
I'm not worried about, those other folks that talk about rubber plants and, Jimbo. I was just wondering, you said you have thousands. Maybe you could just drop
I got
one more, maybe,
hundreds.
or something.
I'll look for one more for tonight. But what I want to say too, this camera is the T7 that took this shot. It has a 25 megapixel imaging base there, CCD.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I used to have a
most stop
Canon
at 18.
with 25. That 25 is perfect, man. You get some really nice shots with 25.
Sweet.
It looks
It's
good.
sweet.
It looks good.
So let me try to find one. It'll take me 5-10 minutes because I got a lot of folders and everything's everywhere.
Yeah,
So
we're
wish
kind
me
of
luck.
so here's my issue, Jimbo. Is I'd love to see like a shot of
I
the
can do
laser
this
kind
shot
of
fucking live for you. You see the laser,
No, Jimbo, no offense.
everything
No
live. I
offense.
can set it up and do it pretty much any night. Live,
Here's
lasers,
all
camera.
I'm saying. It does not look like the laser's coming over your shoulder. That's all. But I'm not
Oh,
doubting you.
okay.
I'm not
Well,
doubting you. I'm
it's
not
over
doubting
my
you.
head. If you saw my mounting block and everything, it said about 6 foot, maybe 6'2". So
Sure.
I'm
No worries.
5'8" or whatever, 5'9". So it's over my head and to the, well, I guess left or right, or I'm centered under it pretty close, or
Sure. It's coming
hugging
back
the
to
wall.
center. I see what this picture is doing. The laser is coming back towards center of frame, which I agree that would be the center of camera. But if you had another one or something, we could
Well,
we
I'll
could
hunt
agree.
around. I do have more lasers of the mountain and the green things, so I'll hunt a few down. I'll try to find some.
That'd
Just
be
like I
great.
say, just carry on. I'll try to find some in a few minutes and post them again and just see what happens there.
Okay.
Wish me luck
Appreciate
because
you,
I got a lot of
Appreciate you,
files,
brother.
man. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Jimbo. Appreciate it. Tony UK is asking a question. Maybe somebody can help me answer it while Jimbo's looking, if he can't answer. He says, lasers I use usually show a dot. I think he might be talking about like the cat toy lasers. Here it seems to be a line as the projected item. So I'm asking, does laser fire a line? It looks like it does. I'm thinking so. Does that question make sense to you guys?
Yeah. Which I know nothing about.
I don't know anything about lasers either, but it sure looks like a line. I mean, it's pretty impressive, especially for 12 miles. I don't know what this tells us. I don't necessarily think it tells us anything, but
Yeah, mine did the same thing. It was like a perfectly blue line just through the clouds. It was amazing. But, so yeah, I guess it's a whatever you call it, laser. I don't know what the official name is, but I call it cool as F words. I didn't want to cuss.
Well, we've seen videos, haven't we, Brandon, of like gun-mounted lasers, even in the small room where there's no smoke, no nothing, but you see that beam, right? And you also, you have the point.
Well, there's particles. I mean, there's particles everywhere. I assume that's it.
I don't know how that would happen without some sort of medium for the beam to be reflected back to our eye, just like the satellite dish is reflected back to our eye, right? Or not satellite.
Well, I guess molecules, particles.
The dish thing, right?
Have you guys ever seen this show called Microcosmos?
What's it called?
Microcosmos. It's all about like single cell organisms. And the microscope, they have this amazing microscope camera that'll shoot in, and you can see it like unlike you've ever seen before. I'm driving, otherwise I'd link it. But if you just look at Microcosmos, it's amazing. I don't know, just kind of off the subject, but there's this one single cell organism that has these little crystals in the tip of it, and they jostle around, they move, and it's actually, the movement is from the water molecules like actually bouncing off of them. That's how small this thing is, and the camera picks it up. I'm just saying, like, it is probably smaller stuff in the air that it's shooting off of. I'm not saying there's crystals in there. I'm just saying things are really small, and sometimes you don't see them, and they interact with other things that you can see. That came out completely wrong. Sorry, but there it is.
all right. You said Microcosmos?
Yes, the Microcosmos.
Okay. I found a bunch of pictures. It mostly looks like there's some snails making out, There's a lot of bugs.
All right. It's exploring the microcosmos. I think it might. Maybe that's it. I'm sorry, I'm driving. Let me look it up though.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Be careful, man. Don't get in the
Nah,
crash.
screw it. This is more important than lives. No,
All right. Yeah, you're right, Tony. Tony, Brandon. So the laser is firing, hitting the dish, and reflecting upwards into vapor and creating the line. Yeah, I'll try to get him to explain it a little better, but I think the laser line that you're seeing, Tony, is he's firing the laser over his head down at this dish that's on the mountain, and it's just hitting the dish and lighting it up. It's like a metallic dish of some kind, and that's why it seems so bright. Either that or it's CGI, but I'm going to give Jimbo the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
I would just by observation think that if that nice of a laser that's showing us this nice beam going to a reflective type dish enough to reflect light back to our eye, we might see that reflected beam also. Maybe just one of them thoughts. I'm not discounting Jim at all. But
You would think so. Yeah. Yeah. That would make sense. It bounces off there and then you see it bounce around.
If the dish is a parabolic shape, how is it going to form like a mirror, a definite distinguishable bounce off, like
parabolic,
a reflection?
meaning a disc shape,
These
which
dishes
would
are
concentrate the light
usually
again.
no. It
Would
concentrates them at a gun resonator a few inches in front of them or a few feet in front of them,
Okay, all right.
and not
Jim's right.
out back
Jim's
into
right.
space.
Jim's right. If it was a flat surface, it may reflect that beam straight out. Jim's right.
I agree.
At least in my interpretation of how light works. But now being parabolic, it's going to scatter, and you might only see that one point right at the middle, just like all our fucking satellites have that one thing. Satellite dishes have that one thing pointed at the middle.
Yeah. This image kind of shows it, Aaron, right here.
Yeah, a collector, kind of what they call it, right?
Bounces in and then all bounces towards the center.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. You learn something new every day. And look at this little guy. He's thirsty. This little snail guy. It's pretty dang cool camera though. All right. Well, that is Jimbo's laser. Let me know when you're ready, Jimbo.
Res, that thing, and I can use my cell phone, focus it, autofocus it from there, change it, see what I'm seeing through the lens basically, and take my pictures from a mobile.
Jim, you have to
internet.
You have to give your location to prove you're 12 miles away, Jim.
Well, yeah, my building is on Google Earth, and so is that tower. It's called Camp La Fortune. It's the tallest tower in the east here.
How far away is that building right under the laser beam? That apartment building.
That's on this side. It's in Ottawa. I'd have to recheck. I think it's about 2 miles to 2.5 miles. It's less than 3 miles.
Okay.
It's this side of the river.
How well can you see into those windows over there with your camera?
Very well. You can see the maple leaf on the flags draped over the balconies and stuff. Like there's a university or the college Algonquin. It's 1 mile away.
Oh yeah,
and
frat
one
parties.
of the buildings. No, it's actually the classrooms I see, but I can see all the heads of the students. Them writing basically a little over their shoulder. I can't read what's on the bulletin boards and note boards, but I can see the doors, doorknobs, windows, curtains, students, desks, chairs, 1 mile away.
What floor are you on? You seem looks like you're up pretty high.
7th floor.
Oh, okay. Well, that's still a pretty good vantage
that's
point.
again with my super lens there. I mean, this thing is 2600 millimeter. It weighs over 10 pounds, I guess. There. It fits on Canon. I got mine for Canon, but it fits on 35 Nikons too.
What kind of zoom do you think you're at on this photo? Not max zoom of your
I'm not even. I'm with the regular standard portrait lens on this one.
Yeah.
and it's just zoomed out on that one a bit to capture it, just to get like the door frame out of the way and stuff.
I'm willing to concede that I need more information from Jim because this picture seems legit.
Well, I'll take a bunch more and I'll do some live. I can mount 3 or 4 lasers and shine them all at the same time at the same damn dish and do it live. You know? It's wild.
If you take a laser and you shoot it and you throw some smoke at it, you're gonna see the line, right? That's what the
Well, you
clouds
see it
and
without the
everything is.
smoke. Yeah, you see it without the smoke.
No, I'm trying to answer the question of that guy.
Oh.
Let me ask Silent Zero and Jim this question. Can you see the laser without the camera, or is it the camera that picks up that beam? Maybe.
Oh, absolutely clearly with your eyes. I've never had a problem seeing the laser, the green laser.
All right.
If it's
Cool-
foggy
cool
or
stuff,
whatever,
man.
yeah, you can see it.
Well, I know, but it's
Even
not
if it's
foggy.
foggy, it still works.
Silent Zero, what we're saying is not foggy in this picture. It looks like a clear sunset. You know, not too much. Not too much.
I got the same laser. It looks just like that.
Fog or anything, you know.
It may still have its metadata too, so it'll give you the settings of the lens, the size of the lens, everything on the metadata. So I don't, mess with that.
I'm not worried about that. I mean, other folks might be, so maybe. But I was just wondering, like we're saying about normally when the lasers I use are local whiteboard pointers, right? You can stand 50 feet away and point at whiteboards and shit. Okay, you don't see that beam. Okay, but maybe the camera, especially your camera, might pick up that beam too, depending on shutter speed.
No. Everyone will see it the same way. Cameras will see it the same way.
Hazy or dusty or whatever. But like if it's clear, you cannot see the line.
No, you can. It's clear when I did it anyway, so it's clear in that picture.
Unless you have a special glasses that are used to see those lasers, you cannot see them. You only see the
Or if you don't know anything about lasers, that could be a thing. All right, just get some contention here. My laser's better than your laser. I back him. The laser looks just like that, and I had a blue one.
You want to play swords?
Yeah, if anyone has a problem, let's fight.
There is somebody who has a problem with lasers, and that's Mr. Buffingers. He believes that lasers are for the uneducated, and I've confirmed that on multiple occasions.
Buffingers.
Yep. He's out there somewhere. I haven't seen him around lately. Must be on vacation right now.
Well, I threw that link in there. The run. I don't know if it's downloaded yet, but it's in general.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me check that out. And Jimbo, if you do get a chance, I do want to buy some of these lasers if you post the link.
Okay, I'm hunting them down now for the exact link. So because there's so many are cloned and look alike and all this garbage, I want the same manufacturer, same distributor. That way there's no mistakes, because there are a lot that look like the good ones, but they're garbage.
Oh, okay.
But I'll find the right one for you. Okay.
Cool, man. I don't know if this one's going to get me in trouble or not. Let's see. Probably. I'm just going to...
It probably will. So I'm sorry. That was just for you to check it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll look at it after the show, but... Wow. So this is...
Yes.
Pretty amazing.
Microscopy. It's called microscopy. That's it. There's in-field microscopy and then dark field microscopy. I hope I'm saying that right, but it's amazing what this camera can do.
Well, where's Right the Hand? I mean, he's the one who's always talking about show me an atom. This is getting pretty close, but not quite.
Yeah. It's single cell, and they have those tardigrades, the water pigs or whatever it's called, those little pig-looking things that are microscopic. They're like single-cell organisms. Well, no, those are multi-cell, but they're still tiny.
Not only that, those can survive in extreme pressures, heat, cold.
Yeah,
that's an amazing thing you just mentioned.
Yeah, they took them to Antarctica. They still they come back to life as soon as you put them to the right temperature and hydrate them. They just pop back up.
Yeah, they hibernate. They freeze like frogs. They thaw out. Yeah, it's amazing.
What is this right here? This like spiral thing.
Wait a second. Let me see.
You see that green spiral? Some weird stuff. What's that?
Let's see. It's oh yeah, those are. Now you have to look at the back. There's so many. There's like 10,000 different kind of species of these things. I can't remember which one's which. There's this one's like 3 seasons long, and there's a whole bunch of episodes. It's amazing.
These are the things that are crawling all over us all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or in ponds, or in our water, everywhere. Now there's some that are like when you see like green algae and stuff, you think it's green algae on a snail. It's a lot of times it's not. It's a bunch of these little amoeba things attached to it, and there's so many of them, it starts turning green. It's pretty crazy. They have different episodes on how they eat, how they crap, how they, some you freeze dry them and then come back to life, like what do they call those little things you get in the back of comic books? What are those called? Sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys, always a disappointment. I never could train them to do the stuff that was on the box. I thought I was going to have a sea monkey circus, and it just turned into soupy water.
Yeah, I always little hats and the bow ties. It's hard to keep it on them.
Yeah. I'm gonna
I
post
can never
this
get
link
the
in the chat for
basketball
you
in the
guys.
goldfish tank.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. All right.
Everyone should check that out. It's just interesting. It's just a whole nother world, like that no one really thinks about. Once in a while, like in school, maybe you thought about it because you had a slide with an amoeba on it. But this is all the different species they tell you about. And the guy's voice is kind of crazy, but I don't know.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff in here. I'll have to, look through this. Well, we're nearing the end of the show. Anybody got anything that they want to bring up last minute? Otherwise, we'll go into final thoughts.
This election's going to be crazy.
The conversation about Adam. Who here believes that there is an Adam? That we actually.
Oh, here it is.
Do you believe that there's atoms, Brandon?
I don't know. I've never seen a picture of one. I don't know why I need to believe that there's an atom, but there could be.
Have you guys seen the demonstration where they programmed an atom to dance with a human? Basically it's a animation using atoms regarding a man. I think they're playing Pong. Supposedly it's atoms where they're programming atoms. Obviously,
is this your field of expertise, FPD? Here,
is it your field of expertise?
No, I've seen what he's talking about.
You're the one who brought it
There's
up.
even one where a guy plays soccer, but it looks.
Yeah,
like...
I think it's soccer actually. The one I saw, where they.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's real.
No,
but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, so they're saying that they can program an atom. So just like the Atari back in the Atari days.
Who's they? Who's they?
The scientists. I don't know their names. The scientists.
Okay, scientists. Cool,
engineers.
Cool.
What do you want?
Oh, engineers or scientists? Which one?
I don't know.
Engineering scientists.
How about cinematographers? Could they do that too? Could they present that? Yeah.
All right.
When you have no argument, that's all you resort to, Aaron.
Sounds like you guys are raring to go for the after show. So hold on to that energy, harness that energy. And if anybody out there wants to watch the after show, I posted on my channel, Brandon Toy. Everybody is by now hopefully sick of hearing me say this. So once I identify that every single person who watches this show has subscribed to my channel, I will stop posting it in the chat and I will stop saying it. So go do your part. Please take a moment, go over to the Brandon Toy channel and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. So let's go into final thoughts.
Did you remove that link? Because like I said, dude, when I went to go follow the bell, it told me that I wouldn't get notifications because it's designed. What am I doing? Designed for kids. Did you fix that issue?
What are you talking about?
So I went to go. I'm subscribed to your channel, but I was wondering why I never got any notifications.
Yeah.
So I went to go click on the notification bell, and it would tell me that this channel doesn't do notifications because the content is for children, something like that.
The hell?
Yeah,
I
I
told you
never
about
got
this
that,
already.
but maybe shit changed. When did that happen?
This is maybe a week ago. I tried doing this, or a week and a half ago, roughly. I'll see if I can do it again and see if it's changed.
Yeah, maybe it was something weird. Because I've never heard that before. But if that's going on, my show is not meant for children. So
Well, don't you remember me bringing this up before already? I brought this one once to you before.
depends on what
I
night it
remember
was.
that happening.
Data. But anyway, no, I don't.
Hey, Brandon,
enough.
just a quick thought on afterthoughts. If you go in random order, it keeps us from kind of repeating ourselves a little bit, because I know I'm after left lane and I got to, follow through. Just up to you. It's your show.
Okay, Aaron, go ahead then. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Fucking hey, on the spot. Fuck, I hate you, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. Great. Another good show. Panel, guests, everybody. Man, you guys just kind of make my little world go around. Just every little thing you say. I love our little fights or your fights. But in the end of the day, I'm getting more information, expanding my mind and kind of that this resource that Ranty provides to Brandon with all y'all on here I owe all that to you. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Brandon.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. The real Bob Dole.
Did you say me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My kids are standing here trying to talk to me about something or other.
Well, I'll come back if you want.
Oh. Okay, yeah, do that.
All right. Let's go to ambiguous truth. You got any final thoughts?
I just popped in probably 2 minutes ago, so I missed the whole thing here.
Okay, fair enough. Tony V.
All right. Thanks a lot. Always a good show. Your shows are really good, actually. And can anyone guess this song? Yes, Ben.
You spin me right round, baby, right round.
Bare naked ladies.
There it is. There it is. Yes, Ben.
Oh yeah.
I've just been practicing that one intro. I'm sorry. That's it. All right. That was my 5 minutes.
That was pretty good. I like that music trivia. Now I got to keep track of who I've already talked to, Aaron. This sucks. Rakia.
What did you say your channel was, real quick?
Brandon Toy.
Yeah, good show. I listened for a little bit, but I don't get notifications from your channel either.
What the hell? Okay, thanks for letting me know that, guys. Essie.
So just to reiterate, sorry to interrupt. I just went to your channel again. I went to go hit the subscribe bell. It says this action is turned off for content that is made for children. I cannot get the notification bell on your channel.
YouTube.
I can get notifications. It didn't give me that. I just subscribed and hit the bell and didn't give me any of that. It said
I'll
get
do
all
a video.
notifications.
I'll do a quick video and post it in the chat for you.
Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Come to think of it, Brandon, neither do I. I get from Ranty though, but not from you.
I bet you this is a country-based thing.
It's those damn Canadians.
Yep. My show doesn't even have anything to do with children. This is an international conspiracy. All right. SE Montreal.
Yeah, good show. Want to shout out Ranty. Shout out you as well, Brandon, and everybody. It was a good show. Good night, everybody.
Cool. Thanks, SE. F Evangelist is deafened. Flat Earth Data.
Good show. Thanks for having me. Shout out to Ranty. Trying to keep up the good work. And I'll post that in the chat right now so you can take a look.
Cool. Thanks, man. Jimbo. Final thoughts, Jimbo? We'll come back if you say something. Lemon.
It's flat, motionless, possibly with ether swirling over it under the dome. That's about it.
Fair enough. Thanks, Lemon. And Aaron Armstrong, if you're still there. No? All right, I'll give my final thoughts. Good show. Thank you guys for being on the panel. It was an interesting conversation. As always, there's always something new. I will be recording the after show, so just so you're aware, usually record 2 to 3 hours, but as long as you guys are talking, it might keep going. So I really appreciate the support on the show. Had fun, and we will talk to you guys in a little while. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, that Streamlabs thing that I sent all you guys and pushed tonight didn't seem to work. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but not that anybody's too worried about it, but I just want to let you know I pushed it and it didn't work. So I apologize for that, but I'll try again. And thanks for a lively chat tonight. Appreciate the support on the show. If you want to see the after show, you know what to do. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.